What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another week of the podcast of Boba Fett. I'm your host, Mike, a.k.a. 30 and Still Gaming. This is episode 2 of the podcast of Boba Fett, and we will be going over the episode that just aired today. So if you have not seen anything of the Book of Boba Fett, episodes 1 or 2, spoiler alert, we will be going over detailed information and breaking it down. And this is a live podcast. So basically, if you watch the show, the whole point of this doing it live is instead of like hitting the comment section down below after the fact, if you like this type of content and instead of watching other YouTubers doing it a breakdown after the fact and just watching it, you can talk with us live in chat as we do it. We do the breakdown, and if you guys saw something that maybe I didn't see, it's a nice little back and forth that we can have a conversation about. We don't have to like just go over the breakdown and that's it. It's more of a lore build, conversation starter. What you guys think? A lot of you read the comics and the books, and there's things that happen in the shows that might be a little bit more knowledge than I have by just watching it. Most of it is just me watching the show for what it is and then talking about it and giving you my thoughts on, from a film standpoint, production wise. I have worked in the business for almost 20 years. So I love film. I love the way it's made. I love the dialogue in movies and stuff. So that's what this is. This is a podcast about a show. Okay, so each and every single week, we're going to be doing this for also. I don't know if I'm going to do it live for the Peacemaker show on HBO Max, but we are going to have a coverage of that if you're looking forward to the DC Universe type stuff. So good evening, Sean. Thanks for joining us. And then chat. You guys will be over on this little box over here on the side here. So as we are going live, if you're watching this after the fact, you can be a part of this. 8 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday nights. All right, so let's start the breakdown, shall we? So it starts off with Fennec walking back the guy they captured at the end of, or not the end, but during the episode last week with Boba Fett. Brings it back to the actual, and he says, "Who sent you?" And he wants to know, who is this person? And he asks his, it's not a protocol droid, but it's a droid, okay? And Fett says, "Look, we've spared your life, and you're not even going to speak to us, okay? We could have killed you." So he says, take off his head or whatnot, and he says he's not going to speak. So he curses and insults him, and at this moment, it's like a running theme, right? Last week, when Fett walked into the thing, he walked in on Boba Fett, and everyone's like, "Who?" Right? I'm the new person in charge here. And no one really knows who he is. But as the fans, we're like, it's fucking Boba Fett. He's one of the best bounty hunters in the galaxy, and yet on Tatooine, they really don't know who he is, right? Or in the galaxy, they don't really know who he is. At least that's the way they make it sound, right? So he says, "We spare your life, and you talk to me this way." And then, so basically, Fett's trying to get the respect, right? He's trying to get the respect. Before, his respect was helmet on, and the respect he got was fear, right? It was fear of being hunted by Boba Fett. But now he's trying to not be the... This is why he always has... This is why he talks with his helmet off, right? One, because acting-wise, they want to talk with their helmet off. Otherwise, you get another situation sort of like in Spider-Man when they take their masks off, or any other superhero that takes their mask off to have a conversation. Same with the Mando when he wanted to take his helmet off for certain things, right? So we've already seen his face. So it makes him more human as we're watching this, okay? So he asked the droid, AD-8, who's his translator or whatnot. He says, "Who is this? What is the reputation? What is the hood?" Okay. And he says he will not talk. They fear no man. I think they're from the Nighthood, Nightwing, Let me look at what it is. Assassin hired. I think it's Night. It's never been in the series before. Night Wind. Night Wind. So I don't recall the Night Wind in anything that I've read before. So I'm assuming that they created it just for the series, but I'm not too sure. Leave a comment in the section down below if you know. But I do believe Night Wind is a new to the series. I don't recall it anywhere else. So then Fennec is like, enough of this. If you're not going to speak, then then you're going to have to deal with the Rancor. Obviously, it's funny because as a viewer, we know what happened to the Rancor, right? He died. Return of the Jedi, Luke Skywalker, boom, right on top of him, and killed him. But there's a little moment during this, right? There's a little moment during this that we're like, did they replace it? Do they have another Rancor? Like, we're thinking. We're like, nah, there's nothing there. And then they kind of like drop him in there. He's freaking out. The door opens up. It's almost the same play-by-play as it was when Luke Skywalker was in Jabba's palace and they dropped him in there. Right? And you know what's crazy? I love the attention of detail. I said this last year when Mando was filming, and at the very last scene, they did Jabba's palace again. Okay, I love the fact that it's 40 years later, okay, or 35 plus years later, okay, and the attention to detail is just like crazy. Like they make it, even when he falls down the thing, it's a 1-to-1, or at least it feels like a 1-to-1 of what it is, right? I love the camera work they're using here with push-ins and stuff, and they kind of like with when the thing is moving, and just artistically wise, how they're doing it is really good. So they make you anticipate like maybe there is a Rancor in there, and it's not. So it's just a joke. And he screams out the mayor. The mayor did it. So then we find out that the mayor, what we thought was, sent the assassins. Now we do find out that's not the case. At least that's what they want us to believe. Okay, so they go to Mos Espa again. He's walking down the street, and again, they see him walking down the street, but they don't fear Boba Fett. Okay, no one stops. They just they keep doing what they're doing, where everyone else kind of like looks on at him, doesn't give him the respect, and he's trying to earn that respect of being a boss. They kind of just look at him like, what is he doing, right? They see the Night Wind guy being captured, and they bring him to the mayor. And when they bring him to the mayor, I didn't really like this. This is almost like the Marvel humor, okay? They bring him into the front desk, and the receptionist, the guy that's the receptionist, he's like, do you have an appointment? Do you have an appointment with the mayor? And he's like, I'm Boba Fett. Who? You're not on the list. Like, again, it's just to prove a point that we as the viewers know Boba Fett, but yet in a big cosm here, he's just another pawn or another cog in the wheel, and they don't really know him. Now they do know obviously that he's there, but they don't really respect him yet. So a part of this story, I believe, through the book of Boba Fett, even though he was respected as a bounty hunter, by the Empire and whatnot, him trying to grow up to be something different than what he basically thought he was supposed to be, which is a bounty hunter. He's trying to be a mob boss. He's trying to be so the guy that we saw last week, the mayor's assistant, gets in the way, and Boba Fett doesn't want to hear shit from him, so he kind of just walks past him and walks into the room with the mayor. Okay, once he gets in there, the mayor now, okay, the mayor's name is I wrote this down. Okay, his name is How do you pronounce this? This is, where the hell is it? Mokshakiz? Moke Shock is. I think that's how you pronounce the. Okay, so the mayor is Thorin. Okay, and this is a species in Star Wars that when I was a kid, okay, I basically called him Hammerhead. Is when I was a kid. Obviously, it's a species we've seen. It is also a bounty hunter. One of the bounty hunters. I forget the bounty hunter's name off the top of my head right now, but Moshak is the mayor. Now, Boba's trying to assert himself, the dominance, saying that he's the daimyo, okay, to the mayor, but only continues to live because he wields it, okay? But the mayor's talking to him, and the mayor's voice, the voice actor for the mayor is Robert Rodriguez, the director. He did a voice last week, and he's in a voice again this week. So interesting there that he'll probably play. Robert Rodriguez does that in a lot of his movies, though. So, he's trying to put dominance over the mayor, but the mayor's like, "Look, you're looking at the wrong person. I didn't send this," and they murders the guy and says, "Oh, well, thank you for bringing us this assassin because we don't allow this to operate in our area." And then he says, "Here's your compensation." He's like, "I'm not a bounty hunter." He's like, "All right, well, then this is the money that you wanted." And they're kind of insulted by that as well, okay? But then the mayor tells him, he sends Boba to Garza's, okay, Garza's sanctuary. And if you guys remember last week, the sanctuary is that cantina in the first episode. Now, he goes there to seek the answers and tries to find, what's happening and goes and talks to Madame Garza, okay? Now, the mayor was looking like he was supposed to be the boss, like the bad guy in this episode, like the Moff Gideon, and I don't think he's the Moff Gideon. He might be, or it might be a little play here. I think the mayor's not really bad. I don't think the mayor's going to die in any way, shape, or form. I don't think Boba Fett's going to kill him in any way. I just think that the mayor's taking a role here as trying to show dominance over Boba Fett. It's like two dogs pissing on a fire hydrant, right? Who's marking whose territory here? And I think by the end of this, Boba Fett will be, and then the mayor will respect him as is. So I think that's what the play is. I don't really feel like he's the main villain of this. Potentially, maybe, if I had to look, like we just watched Hawkeye, I think the mayor's character, the way it's established right now, is sort of like Jack in Hawkeye, is the way I feel from the first two episodes, right? We were made to believe that he's the bad guy, but then we see just shortly after this, after he goes to the sanctuary and talks to Garza, that there's another person in play here. So he walks into the thing and says, "What's going on?" And basically she's like, "Okay, Fett's here again." And then so basically he says to her something along the lines, "You're sweating like a Wampa in Mustafar," or something like that. I forget what it is. She's just kind of going along with it, like, "Oh yeah, we'll free up a table or whatever. Go ahead and bout it," right? He says, "What's going on? What's respect? Like, what the hell is happening here?" And she's like, "Oh, you don't know. The Hutts are here." Okay, Agumpa is what he says. The Hutts are coming, or the Hutts are here. They're taking control of Tatooine again. And all of a sudden in the background, when you hear it, you hear like these drums start beating, right? And I thought this was pretty cool when you see the Hutts come in. Okay. Now, you hear these drums in the background, and the Hutts are actually reclaiming Tatooine through the cousins of Jabba the Hutt. Okay. There are twins. Now, I don't remember twins in any of the lore. Through the Clone Wars that I watched and all the other stuff, I don't remember twins. Now, maybe there are twins that are brand new and they're bringing them in. Again, leave a comment in the comment section down below, or tell me in chat if you guys know about any of the Hutt twins. I don't recall twins. It might be another new thing in this series. Okay, so you hear these drums nearing, and then they walk outside. Fett puts his helmet on and says to Fennec, "Watch my back." Okay. And then all of a sudden you see this, which I thought was pretty cool, right? I thought it was pretty cool that, let me see if chat is chat working? Let me see if chat's actually working here. don't know if chat's working. Chat might not be working. Hold on one second. Properties. Source. When active, shut down source when not visible. Shut down source when not visible. No. Refresh browser when scene becomes active. We'll see if it pops up now, guys. So yeah, so all of a sudden you see the huts come around the corner, which I thought was pretty cool, and I'll pop this up on the screen for you. I love the fact that obviously movie magic, they're digitally CGI'd there, and they look pretty goddamn good. I have to say that the technology's come a long way since the last time we saw a digital Jabba. When they did the reboot, or not the reboot, the remastered stuff when Lucas did it. What I like here is that the platform is like bending, right? Poor guys that are holding this shit as they're like carrying them out. Like, where the fuck did they come from, and how long did they travel with them? You know, and why is it the first place they're showing up is here and not at the palace where Jabba owned? Okay, so it's interesting though. I thought it was pretty cool. Thought it was pretty cool. Let me go to chat real fast. Why are they making Boba Fett a chump? I don't think he's a chump. I think what happens is he's lost his way. He's weak, first off. He's building up himself again. Okay, he's not a spring chicken anymore. You know what I mean? Now there is a discrepancy a little bit of when he went into the thing and then when he came out. He was much younger, at least we thought he was, and he was much older and beat up here. But I don't think it's like he's a chump. I think it's more of a character growing, right? Yeah, you can't be you don't want to follow someone that's like a badass all the time. You want to follow someone that's like building up, okay? Like if you have someone that's just a badass, there's nothing to, right? There's nothing to grow. There's no growth there. There's a lot of growth that's happening right now with Boba Fett because he's not a bounty hunter anymore. He's trying to become a gang leader, basically. He's trying to own other people. He's trying to run a whole operation instead of just working for himself, right? Seems like those flashbacks are going to be almost every episode. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I called that last year as well. I said they're probably going to do, flashbacks because there's a lot of stuff to fill in the gaps, right? I think they based the Mando season 2, and thus Boba wants to get away from his past. I think he wants to change his image from the ruthless bounty hunter into a respectable leader. Exactly, Krabs. It's like this growth of a character. So it's not like he's holding back. He's also not full strength, hence why he keeps going to the back to tank, right? Prince says, I hope they focus on one of the storylines because clearly him with the Sand People personally don't care about it. Will be better in the present story. See, I like where they're doing. It's slow, but I do like what they're showing because by the end of the series, the reason they're showing the build-up with the Sand People and him coming into power, okay, he'll be really powerful, especially when the Sand People run the fucking planet. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens there. Krebsy says him being a chump, I think, is to signify self-control and him get away from his past, and self would blast anyone at any time. Exactly, Krebsy. I thought this episode was much better than the first one. Agreed. I like how Boba Fett is a fool for a sake of the plot in episode 1, present day. Sean says, I don't think he has a chump in the episode. I think he'll kick a lot of ass this episode. Oh, absolutely. I think this episode was a good balance, and we'll get into it. So I do like the fact that they've introduced the Hutts here. I thought it was pretty cool. There's also another character that they introduced that I thought was pretty cool. I only knew of him in a comic that I read. I read a comic about a year and a half ago, I guess. It was Vader. It was the Vader comic series, and I believe it was like 3 or 4 or 5, one of those issues. And all of a sudden, a giant black Wookiee comes walking from behind, and his name, okay, is the Black Kerstanton. Okay, he was captured from Kashyyyk. He was made into a fighter, into a ring, and then he becomes a bounty hunter. Okay, he's very well known in the galaxy as a hunter. He's feared throughout the galaxy, just like Fett. The difference between Fett and Black Kerstanton is that a Wookiee is really freaking strong. Okay, so you gotta think of this guy as skilled. You have to think of this Wookiee as skilled as Fett, but much, much stronger. He's really good. Okay, he's worked for like Vader and other people throughout the galaxy, right? So pretty cool they brought him in. I don't know what they're going to do with him just yet. I think this is going to be that battle. This is that I hate to compare it again. This is Hawkeye versus Maya type of thing. Not that she's a strong character, but this is going to be that moment where Fett fights him. And I think there's going to be a lot more bounty hunters coming to play throughout this series. So I thought it was pretty cool. When I first saw him in the show, I was like, who's that? I was like, oh shit! Like he looks cool, man. He looks cool. Let me get a close up of him, and I'll bring him on screen. And you can see Fett. You can see Fett like staring him down, man. He's a little nervous about him. You can tell, but obviously you can't see Fett's face, but you can see that he's checking him out. He's checking him out, giving him a look over. Okay, let me bring this up on screen real fast. Okay. It's pretty cool makeup, man. I have to admit, this is not like CGI. This is practical stuff, and I love the makeup. It almost reminds me of like Harry and the Henderson type stuff. I love the practical stuff. I love when they do it in camera. Okay, like you could tell the difference between the Hutts being CGI'd and Black Kerstanton here being he looks cool. He looks badass. I would like to know more about him, right? And I know he makes an appearance in a lot of other things, but I only know of him when I first read the comic. Yeah, he looks good, right, Gritter? What's going on, man? So another thing is, like, Fett's telling him, look, I'm not leaving. I own this. I don't care what you say. And the Hutts are more diplomatic, right? They're like, I'm not going to kill you because it's bad for business. And they show this, like, this, like, contract. And the Hutts are protected. The Hutts are protected by the Empire because, the new, what's the new galactic, whatever. Okay. They're protected. They played like the middle game and they basically, hedged their bets basically, right? The Hutts hedged their bets. Whoever won the war, they were still going to be protected regardless. So they're free to New Order, right? So they're okay to run, and basically they still make money off whatever side they're going for. And there's this contract. So if you gotta kill them, you gotta go through the ranks of, hey, if you're gonna get rid of this one, you gotta go check with the other people first before you can just take a gun and kill them, because otherwise there's gonna be shit to pay. Okay, there's gonna be shit to pay. So that's a big thing, that Boba can't just murder them, like Luke did with which makes me think, I guess Leia killed Jabba. Were there people out to get her after this whole time? Because she killed a person that was protected. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. So we'll see more. And I think right now the Hutts are the bad guys now. I don't think it's the mayor, but it might be a play. It might be a play where the mayor comes back into play a little bit, back and forth a little later. Yeah, that's why I said actual Leia did it. That's why I said she choked him to death. But that's why I said, are they after her because she killed somebody? You know what I mean? Like for the remainder of her life, if there's a huge contract that you have to go through to kill a Hutt, she had to get consequences, right? Or people had to come after her at some point. So that's what I'm saying. So it'd be interesting to see what happens there. Let me go back to chat real fast. Sean says, I didn't think I already read that one. Prince says there are 3 or 4 of the huts showed when Maul was there. Yeah, but there was 3 or 4 huts are everywhere, but I don't remember twins. I don't remember twins in the lore. I think they fixed that up. See, I like the animatronic, Sean. Like when they did Jabba the Hutt and there was like 12 people inside that 10 or 12 people operating that thing, that looks better to me than the CGI. I hate when they do CGI. The CGI looks bad. It looks like it sticks out. It just sticks out. I mean, don't get me wrong. CGI is great in certain aspects, but like characters and stuff like that, sometimes they just feel off. In Mando, he seems to be doing just fine with him and without the armor. And we don't know how much of the past is between of the Sand People flashback and his appearance in Mando. Well, this takes place after Mando, right? This is directly after Mando. And him working with the Sand People, there's about a 4 to 5 year gap because we know he went into the Sarlacc pit from Return of the Jedi. And we know this takes place 4 or 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So that means he was with the Sand People about a week or so after he got out of the pit till up to the point where he meets Mando. So it's about 4 years, I would assume. I would love to see the Wookiee focus show. Yeah, it'd be kind of weird, though, to follow a main Wookiee because basically he doesn't speak. So you would have to have someone, a helper, a partner that would be like the Han Solo, where he's like, what do you mean? You know what I mean? Because that's all you're hearing the entire time. Who do you think it is at Disney that feels like they can't do serious plots without sticking that dumb humor in? What part of the humor? Are you talking about like the check-in spot, Reese, where he tries to come in and they're like, Boba Fett here to see the mayor? Do you have that humor? Is that what you're talking about? I agree that dumb humor shouldn't be in the show, but the humor opens the show up for larger age demographic, for some like 8-year-old in the first Star Wars content they're engaging with. True. There's a good reason that Darth Vader always hired Boba Fett to carry out his missions. He actually also hired out the Wookiee, Black Krrsantan, before or during before Boba Fett became the main bounty hunter. Nope. No one's gunning for Leia. They're not dumb enough to go after her for the sister of the most powerful Jedi in the galaxy. See, I don't think so, Gritter. I still think that if they found out, I mean, obviously, if you kill a Hutt, someone's coming after you in some way, shape, or form. There's a huge contract that protects them. Plus, Boba Fett would be a fool to try fighting a Wookiee without his armor. Oh yeah, the Wookiee is like basically a Wookiee is like an ape to us, right? Like 10 times stronger. The Wookiee is just a badass, man. He's a badass. So basically, right now, what we see of Black Krrsantan, if we never saw him again and just hear the lore of what Krrsantan has done, he would be what Boba Fett was back in the old day in the movies. Okay, when we just saw him in the movie doing absolutely nothing for the minute and a half he was in the movie, right? We're like, yeah, damn, that guy looks cool. And then there's this lore that made Boba Fett better and awesome more than that's what Krrsantan is, right? That's what he is right now. Let's be honest, the Rocket and Boba could easily kill the Hutts, which might happen down the road, Krebsy, right? Because we're gonna use that rocket sometime. We're going to lose that rocket sometime. Leia can fly through space. No one's going after her. Yeah, nobody's going to go after her. So once this happens, he's like, all right, well, I guess we'll see what happens. And that's basically the beginning of the show, which is like the first like 12 minutes, 13 minutes. They see him in the back to tank again, and then we have this flashback scene. Now, I'm on the cusp with this flashback scene stuff. I'm okay with it, but they keep going back to it. And here's a big thing that's never really happened in Star Wars before, up until the new series, which I don't recommend watching or, I don't even think they're real to me anymore. 7, 8, and 9. 7, 8, and 9 did flashbacks. before that, there was never flashbacks in Star Wars. And this show is doing flashbacks galore. Okay, flashbacks galore. We've had more flashbacks in this in one episode, even last week, and then this week. We've had more flashbacks than any other Star Wars thing ever. Okay, so I don't really like that because I kind of like for instance, if you watch New Hope, the original New Hope, and they said, I fought with your father in the Clone Wars, they didn't cut to a flashback sequence of just like a B-roll shot of people fighting with him swinging his sword just to show us what it was. He just told us that, I fought with your father in the Clone Wars. And we're like, what the hell's the Clone Wars, right? It's just a small little line. Yeah, they could have put a flashback sequence in there, but they didn't back then. Why? Because it cost a shit ton of money to do stuff like that. So they just didn't do it, okay? Now, they just constantly do like a flashback type of stuff. And I don't know. I understand it's a more thicker story here, like literally the whole second half of this show. So he's dreaming, and it goes back to what they're going back to him training. Now, this is great. Okay, this is great. They're showing Fett training with the Tusken Raiders. Okay, and they're showing him how to properly hold. What's the God? I'm losing the. What's the thing called? What's the weapon called? I can't believe I'm missing out. I'm missing it from my head right now. I forget what their weapon's called. I forget what the Tusken Raiders' weapon's called. Anyway, he's showing him. Chat, help me out here. Put it in the chat. Right? He's showing him how to fight, and I do believe the person that's training him is a female raider. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I just the way the body style is, I feel like it's a female more than a male. Still a badass. The gun, the knife, no, the stick, the actual staff that they have. The gun, the knife. Yeah, so as he's training, look, this is great because, yes, Fett's a great warrior. Yes, he's great with a weapon. He's a good fighter. But now he's learning more, and you can see this rapport that he's building up with these people, with the Tusken Raiders, and how they're going on. So they're in the desert, and then all of a sudden they hear this. A creature pops out and runs away. They go over there, and then all of a sudden they see this thing in the distance, and it's a train. It's a land train, a sand train, land train, jet engine on top of it, and it's hauling ass, man. And then all of a sudden you see the windows open up, and they just start opening fire, and they open fire, and the people that are shooting at them are part of the Pike Syndicate. Now the Pike Syndicate was in the Clone Wars a lot. Okay, they were spice runners. Okay, they were spice runners, and the spice is mined from Corellia. So they're running spice across the desert. So as they're fighting primitive people, right, they're shooting at this train, and they're getting slaughtered. And then Fett doesn't even, move. He just kind of stares at it. It's like, what's going on? The Bantha behind him gets killed. A whole bunch of other people get killed or wounded or whatever. Now, one blast to the Bantha, and the Bantha was dead. I thought that was crazy. But, yeah, so he starts helping the people. They start shooting, and then all of a sudden he gets this vision or a thought process of, all right, I'm going to help these people, right? I'm going to stop. Is this Dune? Yeah, well, spice is basically Star Wars was kind of, like not based on, but sort of like Dune. You know what I mean? It's sort of like Dune, like the Tatooine, the spices and stuff like that. Yeah, the Spice Runners. So that make Dune a planet in the Outer Rim? No, it's completely different. But yeah, Star Wars is inspired. Thank you, Krebsy, is inspired by Dune. So they are Spice Runners. So that's what they are. So he sees the slaughter of what's happening here, and Fett's like, all right, well, I can help this out. So at night falls, he goes up to the leader of the Tuskens and says, I'm going to get you to stop that train. We're going to stop that train. I'll be back by morning. Okay? Which you're like, what the hell is he doing? Okay? Because he sees these bikers come across the land, which are the same bikers from episode 1, which we thought, you know, they're going to come back and play something. Why would they show them? Right? Why would they show them harassing people, and he sees them? So he sees them again. Okay? Small town. You know what I mean? Sees the bikers moving across and then says, I'm gonna stop this train, and then hikes it that night and goes to Tashi Station. Now, Tashi Station is a little Easter egg. It's where Luke Skywalker used to hang out with his buds and stuff, so which is pretty cool. So, yeah, so Tashi Station is there, and so Boba Fett shows up. There's a biker gang basically inside. They're causing problems. They're getting in a scuffle with the people in the bar, and all of a sudden Fett comes in, and I like the move that happens. The door opens, you see the silhouette of them. They know they're in trouble, right? They know they're in trouble. Inspired by the copy pasta parts of Dune, yeah. There's a lot of references sort of in this by Dune, right? So Fett goes apeshit on these guys. He just beats the shit out of them, the entire of them. Leaves, gets some drinks, takes their bikes. Now, here's a problem I have that happened in this show. They lost count somewhere, okay? Because once he stole the speeder bikes and started towing them back, there was only 4 bikes. Okay? The one that he was riding, and then the 3 that he was bringing. Okay? Like, that was it. 4 bikes. Okay? The guys he beat up, I think there was 4 or 5. So there may be, let's say there's 5 bikes. But I'm pretty sure there was only 4 bikes. Because he walks past all of them. There's 5 bikes. Okay, there's 5 bikes. But for some reason, when they're fighting against the train and stuff later in this episode, there's a lot of fucking bikes. Especially when like 2 or 3 of them blew up. Yeah, there's 5 total. 5 bikes total. Okay, he's towing 4 of them, which I thought was pretty weird. Okay, so what I like about this episode, again, Mando made me feel this way, and this makes me feel this way. Okay, this is the slow part of the thing where he's teaching them A-Team style, right? Brings the bikes back, tells them these are ours. I'm gonna help you ride these things, right? They're primitive people, right? It's like riding a Banthra or whatever. And he starts to help them learn to ride this. And I'm like, all right, cool. This is the part, play the montage music. It's the A-Team style where he's basically teaching them how to be cowboys now, right? And, slowly speeding. The problem I have with this is there's no time that passes here. It's literally like a day or 2, maybe. And all of a sudden they're like proficient in riding motorcycles when they've never... speeder bikes that they've never touched before in their entire life. They're literally beating things up with like sticks and rocks, and then all of a sudden now they're like fast and furiousing a train. Do you know what I mean? So I wish they kind of showed like day-night cycles that were happening for like days and days, not just hours and hours of training type of stuff. I could be wrong. I'm watching the video right now for a little bit just to see if there is some sort of day-night cycle, but I don't believe so. He teaches them. I don't even think maybe one night passes, to be honest. I think one night passes. Yeah, they do the time swipe type of thing, but nightfall has never comes into play. And all of a sudden the train's back. So this is another part that I wish montage it, right? Show day-night cycles and then practicing day after day before the next train arrives. It's like, no, the train was here yesterday. I'm going to go get you some bikes. I'll be back in the morning. Okay. And then all of a sudden, I've trained you for a couple hours. We're ready to go. We're ready to fast and furious this bitch. Okay? So they get on, and now there's 5 bikes, remember? 5 bikes. Yet, I think 2 get destroyed, and like 3 more show up. And I'm like, what is happening here? So they have 5 bikes, 2 guys on each. So there's 10 total Tusken Raiders that are on this. Now, this train is moving clear across this desert with a jet engine on it. Okay? These speeder bikes, 1, catch up. Sure. Okay? I'm okay with it. Okay? I can subvert my expectations of what's going to happen here, right? So the Tuskens are shooting from a distance. The train's moving at this high amount of speed. They're ready to jump aboard. The pikes are on there shooting them. We lose 1 bike right off the bat. So now there's 4 speeder bikes left. Okay? 4 speeder bikes left. I don't see any other speeder bikes in the background. We only have the 5. Okay? 2 guys jump on the train, and 2 guys are on the actual bikes. Oh, maybe that's what it is. Right? Maybe that's what it is. Because Fett loses his, and there's 3 left. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they went back and like picked up extra people, right? So there's an extra guy. Maybe it's right. It just seemed a little weird. Maybe I thought there was 4, and then there's actually 5. Anyway, Fett loses his. 1 got blown up, so there's only 3 left. I feel like there's still an extra one showing up. Or they went back and picked up more guys to bring back with them. I don't know. It just seemed a little off to me. Good action sequence. I love the action sequence. I love this whole train sequence thing. He uses the is it Gaffrey? How do you say that? Gaffrey, right? The Gaffrey stick. I believe that's how you say it. Gaffrey stick. So they're running on top of the train, and now a nice little battle happens here. And then you have the female Tusken Raider who comes in and just starts fucking up people. She takes out a good 6-7 guys inside that one train cart, which is actually, I thought was pretty cool. I don't care, like I said, I don't care if it's a girl or a guy. I just feel like it's a female. But she's a badass fighter, right? She's probably been fighting a long time in her life. So we've lost 2 bikes. The female comes over and then rams her or his bike into the middle and blows it up, jumps on top of the train, and then starts to whoop ass. Okay, so now we only have 2 bikes left. I'm pretty sure they have extra bikes that show up for a second, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look it up here. Do they have extra ones? Nope. They don't show it, at least the part I'm looking at. So Fett gets into the engine and then stops it. Stops the train. The conductor yeets himself out the window. Just jumps out the window and walks off. But then here's the funny part that I thought was funny, right? The train crashes, and all of a sudden, the Tusken Raiders are like there in 2 seconds. They're literally riding Banthras. They have no other speeder bikes. They're probably like 10 miles away from where they were they actually shooting. Okay. And they're like right there as soon as it crashes. I was like, all right, we'll see what happens here. What I liked about this is that Fett is now helping the people out more than just fighting. He's getting them goods and trades. Okay. And then tells the pikes, are you running spice? And they're like, I don't know what spice is. He's like, that's what spice is. And then that's what the spice gets. So Fett's like, all right, well, let me do a little deal here. Okay. This is the Tusken's land, and you're running through the land. He thought they were primitive people. And he says, well, from now on, if you're running through here, you have to pay a toll, right? You got to pay a fee every time you come back. He's like, now you're going to walk back to the thing. We'll make sure you get back there safely. We're going to take all your stuff from you. And here's some, black rocks that you can have the milk from. And they take the spice. They take all the stuff. And now all of a sudden the Raiders have, primitive, no more primitive weapons anymore. They actually have, present day weapons and gear and supplies that they can use. So I thought this was a big moment here for not only like Fett's character, but for the Tusken Raiders, because up until this point, the Raiders have always been this, we thought, primitive people, when we saw them in episode 4 and so on in the Clone Wars and whatever else. They were always these same type of, like, what are these people? Like, who are they? What are they? And now we're like learning more about the lore about the Raiders. Now, if this is the lore and it's being changed, that's a whole separate thing. But just as the video and the show's doing, not only are they showing Fett growing from, if you watch the Clone Wars series and saw Jango after the episode 2 getting decapitated, and then Fett taking over in the Clone Wars as a young kid, and who he worked with building up to what we saw in episode 4. By the time he gets to episode 4, if you watch the Clone Wars and stuff, you're like, Boba Fett's a badass, right? But he's always been about himself. He's never really helped others, okay? And him helping Mando, because Boba Fett's not a Mandalorian, okay? Either is Mando. But Mando helped him out. Fennec's helping him out. He's actually working with other people now. He's not a solo crew. When he was growing up, he was working with a crew, and then he got away from that and went solo, okay? No pun intended. He went solo, and now he's trying to learn and grow as a character. And again, I'm okay with a character growing. I don't want a Rey. I don't want someone that's already the best of the best and has nowhere to move or grow within the series. Now, a lot of people look at this series and look at this show and go, it's boring, it's slow, I don't like it, they made him a bitch, he's a chump, whatever. I think right now, to establish the story, okay, yes, he is a bitch, he is a chump, okay? But right now, as the story, as he's growing, by the end of this, he's going to be a respectable businessman and a killer bounty hunter, right? And he's going to have all these people in place now, from the Tusken Raiders, from the people in the town. He's going to get the respect. So, okay, at the end of this series, he's going to be a much bigger, better character moving forward, right? Not only is he a world or galaxy-renowned bounty hunter, but now he's also, he's a head. He's a head of an organization, okay? And you get respect because, look, the Jabbas probably never fought in their entire lives. They get the respect because of fear, because they can tell other people to kill people, right? He's getting respect because he gets his hands dirty type of situation, right? And he gets the respect of people because of what he's doing. So I like it. I like the progression of the character. So didn't you know montages are magic? They are magic. Training montages to Lowrider, Beat Playing. That's right. Played by the bar band from the original. Oh, that'd be... yeah. Star Wars continuity changes weekly under Kathleen Kennedy. I'm okay with them changing a couple things, Krebsy. Like, again, if it's not known, like, again, someone in the comments section down below watching this after the fact, or someone in chat can tell me, did they ever go into the lore of what the Sand People are? Like, what type of people they are? I mean, obviously we know the ones that were in episodes 2 where Anakin slaughters them. Those were like the dicks of the Tusken Raiders, right? Because even in this, they say that the Raiders are not all, like, they don't kill people. The group that he's with, they didn't kill him, right? Now, a scene happens here where Fett is talking to the leader of the Tusken Raiders. And this made me giggle a little bit because all I could think of is the Echo Show, okay? Because Fett is talking to him in sign language, right? Telling certain things. And I went, this is exactly how the Echo Show is going to be, right? Where one person's not going to talk, and then the other person's going to be constantly explaining what they're doing. And it's kind of weird to me. I don't know if you can have a lead character of a show where you constantly have someone in the scene basically being in the subtitles for them. Just saying. Anyway, so as he's talking, the character has a gift for him. Okay, he opens up this gift. Okay, he opens up this gift, and he opens it up. And there's a lizard inside. Okay, and then all of a sudden, the lizard crawls up his goddamn nose, and I was like, oh my god. Okay, and he's in his brain. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I swallowed the lizard, which that was a dumb line. But anyway, so the lizard connects to his brain, and then he like trips balls, man. And we end up with this like, sort of like when Luke goes into the cave on Dagobah, where he sees Vader. It's like Fett is like dealing with this like struggle. I didn't really understand it. You know, Tatooine, we do know, was covered with water at one time, and there was a tree in the middle of this water. But I think the water here is like a metaphor type of thing, and he's like being attached to the tree, like the tree is like strangling him, and then he has like a flashback of being in the Sarlacc pit, being strangled by the insides, and then he has a flashback of his father like flying away. And the reflection in the glass, and then he sees himself holding up his dad's his head, you know, like that's what it is. Not even the helmet, like the head would still be inside the helmet, and like he comes back, he breaks the branch off, and then that's his trip. He like had some really good stuff, right? Trips balls, comes back from the hallucination, and he has this stick, and obviously we know that that's going to be the stick that he makes into his weapon. So from this, he comes back, and now he's accepted, right? He's accepted as one of them. They give him the garb of becoming a Raider, Tusken Raider, and he creates his staff, and that's basically where it ends, right? He like trips balls, like I said, and he comes back, and now he is a Tusken Raider. Now, obviously, when I watched Mando last year, I said that that's Boba Fett. Boba Fett's in there. And we were all asking, well, why is he with the people, right? Why is he with the Tusken Raiders? What does this mean? Why is he there? And this is filling in the gaps. So I think we're going to get at least 2 more episodes of flashbacks leading up to the moment like Fennec. He finds Fennec. Okay? Of flashbacks. I don't know if we get all flashbacks. I want to say we do, but I think they can pretty much sum it up in like 2 more episodes. Okay? Then they have a fire. They accept him into the clan. He's one of them. And then they do a little dance, right? I thought the episode overall, obviously, I think it's a better episode than episode 1. We're still learning the backstory of the 4 to 5 years of Fett from Return of the Jedi. From once he falls into the Sarlacc pit, that's where it picks up, and up until a point where he runs in to Mando, right? We got to fill in the 4-year gap or 5-year gap from once he fell into the pit to up until when he meets Mando, and that's what this is. Now, as far as, I don't know how they're going to do it, because this is why I think only about 2 more episodes. I think there's only 7 episodes of this. So I think the 6 episodes that they're doing will fill in about 4. Maybe the 4 to 5 episodes will be flashbacks, and then 6 and 7 will be present day, because you see the bear, you see the Hutts, you see the Wookiee, okay? Right now, they've already introduced enough people to figure out what's going on, and they haven't done anything else. They can still introduce other people. We don't know if there's going to be a season 2 of this. Maybe there is. Or it ends up into the point of where it comes to, you know, the flashback sequences up to Mando, and then the present day stuff of how he becomes the lead, like the whole head honcho of Tatooine, takes Jabba's role. Now, I do believe the reason they're building up the Tusken Raiders and whatnot, the Tusken Raiders run the whole planet, right? They're everywhere. They don't run it, but they're feared because they're just crazy. And if Fett is one of them, then they will come wherever he is because of what he did for their people, and then those people will talk to other raiders across the world saying he's got our backs, he's the leader of our people. Okay, so just like he wears the Mando armor, but he's not a Mandalorian. He wears the armor because his father wore the armor. Okay, and he's not really a Mandalorian. He's not really. He doesn't know what he is. And this series, I believe, is what Fett wants to be. He's growing as a character. He's growing that, yes, we know him as Boba Fett, the bounty hunter, that we never saw him unless you read comics and the books and stuff. But in the cinematic universe, we know him as Boba Fett, but that's not what he wants to be. He's always been chasing or trying to be like his father, but yet he really didn't know his father. Right? And this is what his struggle is. And I think he's coming to peace with it. And he's becoming more like this, like the Tusken Raiders, and making it more human. Okay? And he's also going to be running. I don't see Fett dying in this at the end. Okay? Okay? So I don't see Fett dying. I feel like he's going to be the leader of this. There might be a time down the line where, he gets double-crossed by somebody that we haven't met yet. I still don't think we've seen the full bad guy yet. I kind of want to think, what was the organization that was in Solo with Kira? What was that organization with Paul Bettany's character? The Syndicate? Is that what it was called? The Syndicate? I think it was the Syndicate. Okay. I think we see Kira come back. I think we see her come back in this series. If it's at the end of the series, going into season 2, or something on the underline of it. Okay, obviously Maul's dead. We're not seeing Maul. There might be a flashback of Maul in some way, shape, or form, but I think we see Kira. And I think I know there's rumors about Harrison Ford. I don't know how they're going to do the de-aging process thing, but that's his girl. That's his girl. So it'd be interesting to see if she comes back, he comes back, and Fett's involved in some way, shape, or form, right? Because we know there's bad blood between her and Han, and we know there's bad blood between Fett and Han, and then we know that there'll be bad blood, in my opinion, between Cara and Fett. So who's going to team up with who? Who's going to be what? You know what I mean? We'll see what happens. Crimson Dawn. Thank you very much. Not the Syndicate. Crimson Dawn. Thank you very much. Let me read some chat here. The flashbacks are to show us the character development of Boba between Return of the Jedi and Mando. Without the flashbacks, it would be more confusing why Boba is a chump in present day. He's a chump in the fight during Episode 1. I saw mainly speaking about Episode 1 fight. Sean says, I mean, he was in Sakar pit, in the pit, and it held hostage, so he would make him a little weakened. I think chump is a harsh word. Well, you got to remember, being in the Sarlacc pit and being where he is present day is years later. So I don't know why he would be a chump in the armor that he is now when he's trying to take the head of the table. I don't think he's a chump. I mean, he took on like 6 guys in the middle of the road by being shocked and still fought, right? I mean, again, he's not a spring chicken. You know what I mean? He's an older guy. I'm sure if I got kicked in the chest once, I'd be out for like a week. He's a chump, or is he outnumbered and showing self-control? He no longer wants to distance himself from his past. Could he easily be flown into the sky and killed everyone? Yes. But he has a new path. I think the exact same way, Krebsy. Now, he could have just flown away on a nearby building. But he's trying to show that he's not a pussy. Right? He's trying to show that he's not a pussy. He's trying to get respect. He's not going to back down. The Raiders are 100% going to be Fett's army. Absolutely. 100%. 100%. Let me fire a rocket directly in front of me. when they have a shield up. I hope nothing happens to me. You did good by me, the Raiders, and we will do good by you, Boba Fett. Let me see War Machine fire a rocket launcher less than 5 feet away with no helmet or armor and trying to open a door. You don't have to be a ruthless killer to be a smart in a fight. In fact, Boba Fett's armor is the same as Mando's, right? No. Boba Fett's armor is not Mandalorian. It's not Beskar. At least, unless they retcon it. Okay, unless they retcon it, Fett's armor is not Beskar. Mando's armor is. Fett is not. Yeah, Mando's is nicer. Yeah. It's because he doesn't fight. No, it's just, yeah. So, yeah, that's episode 2. Overall, I thought it was a really good episode. I know there's going to be a lot of people who are like, this show is slow and boring, and I get that. The scenes, and this is what I'm worried about Echo Show on the Marvel series, okay? When you have a character that doesn't speak, and you have the other character communicating with us with sign, right? Even if they speak an alien language, it tells you there's an alien language going on. For some reason, the Tusken Raiders speak, but yet they also sign. Okay? Sometimes they put a subtitle down at the bottom and it says like alien language, and then other times I'm going to stop the train, right? You know, like armies stop. Like it's like stop. Okay? Pick one, okay? Pick one, and please, okay, even if there's sign language on there, you can put subtitles there. You can put subtitles there instead of saying alien language, right? Let the people know what's happening, okay? I fear that that's going to be an awkward thing. So that's the slow parts of this, right? I think the good balance, though, I like good dialogue. There was good dialogue between the Hutts and him. Okay, there was good dialogue between the mayor and him. Okay, the dialogue was really shitty during the Tusken fight, but the thematic setup of the Tusken Raiders and him growing and becoming one of them, I thought it was great. I thought it was awesome. As a Star Wars guy, I like the lore of the stuff, you know, behind the scenes. I like to know what's happening. The more information you can give us, the better the story becomes, because you're telling a story, okay? You might not like the story, but they're telling a story, and there's enough going on. I wish right now, this was like the longest episode in quite some time from any show, and they only spent about 14 minutes, 12 minutes, present day, and the rest of the episode, like 35, 40 minutes, was spent in the past. So this is why I think that we're only going to get like 2 more episodes, episodes 3 and 4, and I think we'll be caught up. So that's the breakdown. If you guys like the breakdown, you can come back every single Wednesday. The show's not over. You can come back every single Wednesday. Okay, we start this at 8 o'clock Eastern time. You can watch it after the fact over on our channel right here, Nerding with 30. And right now, anybody that wants to call in, you can use our Discord. Is it Discord or I don't think it's working. I don't think our bot's working for this channel. No. Which doesn't make sense because it should be working. Come on. Turn back on. Oh, it is working. Okay, there it goes. It is working. It just took a really long time. Oh, when you said episode 1, Prince, I was thinking of like Star Wars episode 1. I was like, he's not in episode 1. See, I don't think he's a chump though there. Right? I don't think he's a chump in that first fight. Like by any means, I don't think he's a chump. I want to know how old is Boba in episode 2 when he loses his father? Was he like 10, 12? So are we supposed to believe that from that time, it's like 20 years has passed? So let's say he's like, what, 30 years old when we see him, 28, 30 years old when we see him in Empire Strikes Back? And then 5 years later, so he's like 35, maybe? I mean, he looks like shit for 35. Let's be honest. So if anybody wants to call in, you're more than welcome to call in. You don't have to. You can call. You can ask a question in chat, or you can ask a question in our Discord. Either way, he's around 41 in this. So then, how old? See, I gotta look that up. Let's see. Boba Fett in episode 2. He's like 10. Okay, is 10 in clones, 35 in Empire, and 36 in Jedi. So he's like 36, 37 in the flashbacks. And by the time he's in present day, he's like 40, 41. Right? Let me look up real fast. This character, Blacker Stanton. All right, so just to let you know who he is, okay? He's an infamous Wookiee bounty hunter. Let's see. He's from Kashyyyk, whose career spanned from during the rule of the Galactic Empire into the era of the New Republic. Originally captured from his homeworld Kashyyyk and trained in the infamous Onit brothers as a gladiator, Kursat later became a ferocious bounty hunter, and he's regularly hired by a crime lord, Jabba the Hutt, and at one point was hired at Darth Vader during the Galactic Civil War to track down and capture an agent of the Empire. So, there you go. Yeah, but how is he a chump, though? I know it's your opinion, but how is he a chump when he's fighting guys, they have shields up, and he's taking tasers to his chest? Now, I get it. Like, he wasn't fighting like he was in Mando when the stormtroopers all came in that one episode where he basically, like, brutally murdered, like, 15 of them. Right? But then again, those are stormtroopers. And then the assassin guys are supposed to be really good. So, he was literally surrounded. It was like 6-on-2 or 7-on-2. And again, you could say he's a chump. I just want to know why you think he's a chump. Overall, I think this episode is I mean, it's much better than the first episode. It's only 2 episodes. I think next week, my question for you guys is, do we get a big, I don't want to say cameo, because like the Hutts is not a cameo. They're not like actors, right? Do we get a big type person introduced every single week? I'm bringing you in, Krebsy. Oh, let me get a headset on real fast. Hold on one second. Otherwise, I won't be able to hear you. All right.
Raider King arc inbound.
Raider King?
Raider King arc inbound.
Raider King arc inbound. What do you mean by that? I'm sorry.
Going to be the king of the Raiders.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think 100%. This is a setup for him when he takes over Jabba's job and becomes the leader. That basically the Raiders from all over Tatooine are going to come to his side.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
100%.
Okay, it's either that or the Hutts are going to come in. This is the plot for like the show. They're going to come in, take the seat. Then Boba is going to go to the Raiders, and it's going to be like an Avatar scene where he goes around to the other Raiders, gathers them up, and then comes attack.
I could see that.
Boba.
I could see that 100%. Like I said in the beginning, right? Like, why wouldn't the Hutts just take back Jabba's palace, right? And that would make 100% sense if they take back the palace, okay, and then he has to get it back. Well, how's he going to get it back? He needs an army. He needs the respect of the people. So these episodes that we see here, we'll see all the friends that he makes along the way, and then asks them to come back to get the Hutts out of there. I could see that 100% happening. I could see that 100% happening.
And then at the end, if it doesn't go down that path, and he's just strictly gonna stay on the throne, and the Raiders are just for the flashback, I think that he is gonna kick the bucket. His Book of Boba Fett chapter is going to come to an end.
You think Fett's going to die?
It's one of two things. It's either the Raiders are going to help him, or he's going to die and get replaced by what's her name? His assistant, his like sidekick.
Fennec.
Yeah, Fennec. Or the bar chick.
I said I don't think he died. I'm not saying he doesn't die, but I don't think he dies in this season. There's no way this is a one and done season. I don't know. I just feel like if this, well, it all depends on how successful it is, right? They could. I personally think there's like a 2. And this is just my production side. I feel like they filmed 2 endings, right? I feel like they filmed one it's a one and done, and then they filmed one for a continuation type thing. I feel like they have one like a cliffhanger, and then they have another one that ends.
You think they have one where he dies and another where
like all depending on. And again, I have no proof of this. I feel like, because they don't know if this is a one and done series, maybe he goes from this and goes back into Mando to help Mando take back Mandalorian. I have no idea. I just feel like I feel like Boba Fett's story is not that he's not a Mandalorian. He's never been a Mandalorian, right? He's not even a youngling, right? Like he's literally a person that stole the armor of the Mandalorians. He's not an actual Mandalorian. Mando is because he was taken in by them. So I think his story is that he's not a Mandalorian bounty hunter. I believe that he's going to reference and be a part of the Raiders. That's his family. That's who's taken him in, and because his whole life he's been chasing his father's profession and what he's been doing, and so I don't know. I think at some point, and this is me again just speculating big time here. We talked about it last week, and I know people disagree with me, but I do think Mace Windu is a part of story here because they keep going back to that goddamn scene. They keep going back to the well, and maybe he doesn't want revenge at the time. Maybe he gets a chance and he's grown as a person and is like, I get it now, and he doesn't go after him. Who knows? I just feel like they're setting up something.
One big counter to me thinking that he's gonna die is that they filmed this and Mando season 3 pretty much at the same time.
Oh, did they?
I thought they did.
I thought. Let me look it up. I'm not sure. Season 3. Did Mando season 3? Is Mando season 3 the Book of Boba Fett the same? No. Favreau soon clarified that the Book of Boba Fett was a separate spin-off series that was already in production in December of 2020, and with the third season, hold on, and developed Mandalorian beginning in late 2020, and it was officially confirmed in December. Filming began by October of 2021. So Fett was already in production. They started filming Mando in October. So not the same time, but like
back to back.
Yeah, a couple months off, but yeah, back pretty close. Because Fett was in production already in December of 2021. And I would assume that production-wise, like filming-wise, probably took maybe 8 weeks, 10 weeks. So you're talking maybe like February, maybe March, and then they didn't start Mando until October. Yeah, it says here filming first season began on October 13th of 2021.
Now I'm back to thinking he's dead. He has to.
The filming for Book of Boba Fett completed, which occurred in June of 2021. So there was July, August, September, October. There was 4 months in between.
Yeah, I'm back. Yep, he's dead. 100%.
You think so? You think they're gonna kill?
Well, it's either he dies or they're doing the Raider arc. And if I think that since he's like getting away from his past, he could. Oh shit! He's getting away from his past in such a way that it's going to give him enough character development that they can just kill him.
He comes to terms to what he is, and then he he fulfilled what he wanted to do, and finds out who he is, and then he dies.
Yep.
Type of thing. I see what you're saying. They could do a cameo, I think, in around episode 8 or 9. Is there 10 episodes of this? I thought there was only 7. I thought there was only 7 episodes, Sean. I'm pretty sure there's only 7 episodes.
Which that's a whole nother problem. I mean,
oh yeah.
Some shows get 6, some get 10, others get 7.
I feel like what they've introduced this episode alone, okay, with the Hutts, I feel like they've bit off too much than they can chew, because the mayor itself is there's only 7 episodes. So the mayor itself was like like I said earlier in the show, like is that Jack character where I don't think he's the baddie. Okay. The Hutts, I feel like could be the main baddies, but at the same time, I think there's another underlining baddie. I think there's another person, and I think maybe I'm thinking this way because I just watched Karate Kid, that Cobra Kai series, and all the people that they're bringing back from the whole lore of Karate Kid, which is like a completely different conversation. But I feel like that Kara from Solo, who's the leader of that Crimson Dawn, that could also be a potential sort of like the power broker, right? Like she's the power broker of this universe. I feel like she's another character they could bring back and play and put to play. I don't know.
I think they're going down the Avatar route.
What do you mean the Avatar route?
The gather the raiders and attack the Fett. I mean the Putts.
Well, they could. That's what I'm saying. Like the Hutts could be the villain. Like at the end of this, we think that that's it. Fett sits on the throne, but yet there's still another, right? So if he takes over the throne and officially has it, where people respect him now, the Hutts are gone, the mayor would bow down to him. He would be the Hutt of this planet, right? But then there's the ending scene. There's like that credit scene where all of a sudden, Kara comes back, and now she's the villain moving forward. She's the Moff Gideon to Mando as it is to Boba now.
I can see that.
I don't know. I just feel I don't know. I don't know why. I again, it must be because I just watched Karate Kid. I feel like there's something there.
I was going to say like they could add a Thrawn episode, but I think they would save that for Mando.
I mean, they can hint towards them. They 100% could lead towards the end credit here. Could lead towards Thrawn, and if they do show Thrawn at the end, let's say the end credit scene, if there is one, it would just lead into season 3 of Mando. It wouldn't lead into season 2 of Boba. It would be It would be that credit scene leading into the next season of Mando.
Well, we can agree that we think that Gideon's working for Thrawn, right?
I don't know if he's working for Thrawn or if he's just yet another person like Thrawn, if that makes sense. Like, there's a bunch of people that still believe in the Order at this point, like 5 years after. So there's a bunch of like separate organizations out there, and I think Gideon was one of those people, like trying to bring back that empire, and I think Thrawn's another person trying to bring back the empire, type of thing. Because there's chaos. There's chaos. There's still people on the Outer Rim, at least in the books, and these are canon. There's still once the war ended in Return of the Jedi, there's still people on the Outer Rim. There's still Empire ships that are out there, which I always find funny because they don't even know that the war's over. But like, how would they not have communication? You know what I mean? Maybe they're so far out there there's no communication. I don't know, but they still believe that the Empire is still running full force.
Now, do you think we see stormtroopers in the Empire during Book of Boba?
We already saw a stormtrooper in the Sarlacc pit.
Alive and like patrolling and doing their
well,
duties.
they should still be in. They should technically still be around in Tatooine and stuff, right? But they're not running for the Empire anymore. They're like hired gunmen now. Because the Empire, I mean, that's how they were in Mando, right? They were hired as guards for the. I forget what the guy's name was in Mando, but they were just hired like armed guards now. I guess I'm gonna say no. We don't see any stormtroopers in this series. I think we saw the one, which I'm a little confused how the stormtrooper got there, but that's another nitpick. There's a couple little nitpick things I have with some of the stuff they do.
What episode do you think we get the flashback and Boba saves Fennec?
I think that's episode 4.
Episode 4. Okay.
Yeah, because that would almost be the end of like, because it might be 3. It might be 3. No, I'm gonna stick with 4. I think if they finish up the story, because that would be season 1 of Mando, and I don't know how much time passed from when he left her there to when season 2 starts. Like, I don't know how much time has passed from Mando season 1 to season 2. I don't know if it's like months or days, but it's pretty fucking close. So once we get the flashback scene of him picking her up, and I think we're pretty much done with it, right? Because then when Mando finds the Tusken Raiders and he's talking to them at the village and stuff, like, Fett's there. He's one of them, standing guard and stuff. Let me read the chat for a second. Let's see here. Boba getting killed by Baby Yoda. Yeah, Reese, that's what's going to happen. Darth Maul clone would be lame. Yeah, Darth Maul is not going to have a clone. He's dead. Like, dead. Like, Obi-Wan killed him. Go after who? What do you mean by that? What are you asking, Prince? What did I say that you're asking? Go after who? Boba Fett already tried killing Mace Windu in Clone Wars. Correct, as a kid, but inexperienced, and it was failed, right? It was a failed, botched attempt. And that's when he was younger and naive and filled with hate, and now he's a grown-up, and he's trying to find his way, right? Thrawn would lead to Ahsoka. Yeah, and Ahsoka basically is going to be the live-action version of Rebels. No, Mando wouldn't have anything to do with Thrawn. The only reason Thrawn and them would cross over is because Ahsoka and Sabine are looking for Ezra, and Ezra's with Thrawn. And if Sabine and Mando team up, because Sabine is literally the leader, or should be the leader of the Mandos, but Bo-Katan also. So there could be some crossover between all that. We don't even know where Thrawn is after Star Wars Rebels, and even Ahsoka is trying to find him. Yeah. So we don't. They went somewhere outside the Outer Rim, and then we're assuming that even though Ezra and Thrawn are like mortal enemies, they're out in the middle of nowhere, right? So by the time they're found, they could have a completely different relationship. They probably hated each other, and now they're actually working together. And Ezra is now, dark side / light side type of thing. Who knows? There's a lot of good stuff that could happen there with the Rebel series, with that whole story plot.
I hate not knowing as much about Star Wars than I do about Marvel.
I know it takes a long time, but the Clone Wars series and then Rebels, like, in your spare time, just like watch one episode a day in a couple weeks, couple months, whatever. You'll know the story. Clone Wars, honest to God, is the best Star Wars stuff that you'll watch. Watching the second episode of this, now I want to go back and watch The Bad Batch. I feel like I'm missing something. I feel like I don't know what I'm missing, but I feel like I'm missing something.
I'm going to be completely honest. That train scene, I couldn't stop being like, "Oh, this is Fast and Furious."
Yeah. As soon as they came out, I was like, "Oh, this is family. This is family."
Yup, exactly.
That whole sequence, I was like, "Wait a minute, that train's coming at them, and then it goes past them, and where they're shooting at it, it's at the closest point, and then they stop firing at it, and the train's like super fucking far away because it's a jet fucking engine, and yet they're like right there." I was like, "Come on, man."
This train's supposed to be like some high-speed vehicle, and then these small little bikes are just keeping up with it.
Right.
And I'm not even joking. I was kind of expecting Vin Diesel to like jump out of the train.
Well, you didn't know Vin Diesel was one of the Pike guys. He was one of the Pike guys. No.
Oh, yep. Oh, so you said something about the female. Which character do you think's the female?
The female's the one that was training with Fett in the beginning, where he's whooping his ass.
Got it.
She's the one that fought him in the first episode, whoop his ass. She's the one that was training him in the second episode. I believe it's a female based on the body. The body just looks smaller than all the other ones that are like around. Unless it's a young boy. It's either a young boy that's a badass or it's a female.
And it's a female, and they're gonna have a family, and yep, that's how it's gonna go.
I mean, it could be another thing where maybe Fett. I don't know what she looks like, but maybe he like falls in love with her. Who knows?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
No, do we know what the Raiders look like? Like, are they human?
There is here. I can show you a picture of what they. They look humanoid. They are like humanoid type creatures. This is what they look like. Where do I put that? Hold on. Oop. That's what they look like. They just, they're humanoid. They obviously don't speak English. But that's what they
100% gonna be Boba's GF.
Oh yeah, do you think it's gonna be a girl? Yeah.
And that makes me think. Okay, he ain't gonna die now. I'm flip flopping.
She dies.
No, neither of them gonna die. That's gonna be season 2.
Oh. I mean, not all of them have to be like that though, right? Because they do take people in. Like they take Boba in. So not all Tusken Raiders are Raiders. They're not all Tusken. They're other people that have come into the group.
True, but I don't know. I think it would be cool if they did.
So you never know. You don't know. Maybe she also came into the group and worked her way up as what she is. She could be
Ray's mom.
She could be smoking hot, right? Who knows?
Trey's mom before she left Boba for Palpatine's grandson.
Yeah. What you don't know is that Anakin's mom didn't die, and she's now she came back.
Even better, full circle. Yep.
Yeah. Boba dies, and his assistant takes over at the end of the season. Fennec takes over. That could,
I was thinking that too.
That could possibly be Reese. That's a possibility.
I don't know.
Prince says, I hope they drop Bad Batch and just have the continuation to Rebels. Well, Bad Batch takes place before Rebels. Bad Batch takes place literally like right after the Clone Wars series, where Rebels takes place 4 years before New Hope. Sorry, go ahead, Krebsy.
I think there's a reason that this is called the Book of Boba Fett, and some may just say that it's because they're going from the past to the present. But I think it's called Book of Boba Fett because Boba Fett's chapter is about to come to an end.
I could see that. I mean, I can say that I wouldn't be surprised if he dies, but I don't think he's going to die at the end of this series. And then how does he die? Do you know what I mean? Does he die a worthy death, or is it like a bitch death, like where he fell down into the Sarlacc pit? You know what I mean? Like, it's got to be a worthy death. It can't be just he dies, saving the Tusken Raiders, or his true. Let's just say it's his true love, right? And he puts himself in the way of. Is that a worthy death? I don't know. He's got to go out. He's got to go out. He's got to go out big, man. Like his dad died like a bitch. His dad
I
just got
think
his head
that
chopped off. That was it. You're like, there was
yeah,
no.
but no. I think that the seat of Jabba the Hutt, whoever has had it thus far, has died. I think he's dead.
I mean, sure. Again, I can see what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. I can see it happening if it happens. I just want to know if he dies, how's he go out? He's got to go out. He's got to go out with a bang, right? He's not going out with.
He goes out and he says something along the lines of "Long live the Raiders," and that gives the Raiders a spark of an ego boost.
Right, and then he
And
gets sniped, and that's it. It's over.
no, yep. He dies, and then Fennec she becomes the leaders of the Raiders, and goes on a bloodlust to kill all the Hutts.
And then we get a spin-off series of Fennec.
Yep,
Fennec and the Raiders. It's a band name.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Sarlacc 2.0. Windu kills him on accident. Yeah. He
So-
chops his head off. That's it, Reese. Mace Windu comes back and chops off Fett's head. Beautiful. I think it's a full circle.
Yup.
Full circle. That not only do we get Mace Windu back, but he dies the same way as his father. And then Mace Windu chops his head off and says, "You're just like your dad, a little bitch." And that's
Yep.
it. Yeah.
And then Mace Windu picks up his head and throws it into a Sarlacc.
That'd be messed up, man.
It would be messed up, and it's not going to happen because it's Disney.
Yeah,
but I kind of want to see that.
Yeah, I would like to see
alternate
that.
universe.
Yeah, I would like to see that. Can we get Snyder? Can we get Zack Snyder to make this, please? Let me see if chapter 3 here is if we have somebody. No, they don't show anybody. There's no actors in the series. I click on chapter 3 and chapter 4, and it's literally just the same two actors. It's Ming-Na Wen and Morrison. That's it. They don't show anybody.
Do we really want Snyder to get his hands on this, though? I don't think we want 14 episodes.
It'd just be 7 episodes in slow motion, though.
Yeah.
Super slow motion. See, I think this is the girl. This has got to be the girl. Yeah. Okay. So the actress, her name is Jonah Bennett, as Tusken Warrior.
Oh, I wonder.
They don't have the picture of what character she's playing. It just says Tusken Warrior. No other person in here is a female that's a Tusken Warrior. They have
Well,
the Chieftain, which is a guy. His name is Xavier Jamines.
well, I think it's a wrap. I think we predicted the whole love interest.
Oh, is she also a? Okay, so she's actually been in a lot of stuff. So she's done all the stunts, basically, for all the superhero films.
Oh.
I mean, when I say superhero films, she's been in the industry since 2012. She did Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She did a couple of stump doubles and stuff for that. She was in Agent Carter. She was in Captain America: Civil War. She was Emily Vanderkamp, Sharon Carter's stunt double.
Mm-hmm.
She was, let's see, Wonder Woman. She was Gal Gadot's additional stunt double. She was in the Justice League for Gal Gadot as stunt double. She was in Ant-Man and the Wasp for the Wasp for motion cap stunts. She was in Aquaman for Amber Heard, stunt double. She was in Captain Marvel for Brie Larson. She was in Avengers Endgame for Karen Gillian and Brie Larson. And she was in Snyder's Justice League for Gal Gadot. She's in Stargirl, assistant stunt coordinator, and for that. And yeah, so she's been in all the superhero stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, but I could tell she's a girl. Like, and that, again, no issue with it whatsoever. I just looked at her and went, "Oh, that's got to be a girl or a young boy." And I was like, "I'm gonna go with a girl." Just because when she stands next to, there's a shot where when they were standing next to the speeder bikes. Let me see if I can find it. When he brings the speeder bikes, there's a moment. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, this is it. There's a moment where they do a wide shot. And that's when I was like, oh. I was like, that's a female. Come on now. Yeah, so this shot right here. Hold on, chat. You can just see the size difference between, like, this first person here is obviously a male, a young person, a young man, okay, and then this person's a guy, and then you look at this person, and it's just, this one could be a girl as well in the center, like really short but bulky. So, and then there's the way she looks. So I was like, oh, that's a girl. And then I was just like, all right, cool. And now I just looked it up, and yeah, so it is a girl. I wonder if they take her helmet off, though. I don't know if she'll obviously be the same character. It might be someone else that plays her if that happens.
Yeah.
Because this woman that plays doesn't. She's always stunned. She's never on screen.
You know, I think that wait. Quantic Dream making the Eclipse game?
Yes. Yeah. All right. So, prediction next week. What do you think's going to happen next week? Do we see any cameos from anybody?
No.
Nobody.
No.
I'm trying to think if there's a person that we're going to see.
Well, actually, okay. I think the Fennec. You think the Fennec scene's gonna be the 4th episode?
You think it's
which
third?
Would make sense.
Yeah.
No. I think it's gonna be like the semi cliffhanger for 3, and then we're gonna get the story for 4, but end on another cliffhanger for 4, since it's quote unquote the mid season.
Right. I'm trying to think if they're going to do the episode, if they're going to show a flashback scene of the scene when Mando's talking to them about helping them with the worm. Right? With the giant
Then you're gonna have like Boba Fett just sitting on top of the hill.
No, they would just show the scene like where Mando's in the background, he's watching over him, like looking at him. But like Boba's in the background spying on the sheriff because he has his armor. Yes, like there'll be a scene of that happening, and then there'll be a scene of when they're sitting down talking to the Tusken Raider to get help. There was that one Tusken Raider where he was just weird. It's just like, why would they show that one Tusken Raider looking at the fire, right, when they're talking? I was like, that's weird. I was like, that's Boba. That's got to be Boba Fett. Obviously, we don't know that. We don't know that yet. I guess I could go back and look to see what he was wearing, because
I was about to say, from whenever they introduced Boba in Mando, I'm pretty sure that he's wearing the same outfit. In this episode,
right? So, all right. So let me. Oh wait, I'm going to Boba Fett. I'm an idiot. I need to go to the. Let's see.
I'm surprised Gritter doesn't have any words to say about this.
What episode was it? It was season 2, right?
It was season 2. It was the front half.
Season 2.
Probably like
Passenger, the Marshal. The Marshal was the episode. The Marshal was the episode where they fought the big worm, wasn't it?
I think.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. I think I'm at. Wow, I think I'm already there.
Yeah, but you don't see Boba till he shows up whenever he Mando brings Grogu to the stone thing.
Well, no, there's a scene.
Although you do see his foot whenever he picks up Fennec. So
Maybe no, maybe it wasn't this episode. I think it's another episode where
they did have 2 episodes with the sheriff. That there was like, I,
I don't think it's
it
the episode.
was
I don't think it's the episode I'm thinking of. I think it was actually in season 1 when he first meets the. I can't.
yeah because because Fennec didn't. Yep, that makes sense. Fennec got hurt during season 1 because she went after Mando in the desert. Yep, that makes sense.
Because we already have. Okay, this has got to be. Let me look at these guys. I don't even know if it's the same clan of sand people, to be honest, because I'm looking at these sand people, and the sand people here are all wearing the traditional, brown. Their tents that they have are completely different than what they're doing, than what they have in this season. Yeah, because at the end of this, Boba Fett is wearing the same exact outfit at the end of this show. He's wearing the exact same outfit.
From when the Grogu stone scene. That scene, is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about this scene right at the end of episode 1 in season 2. Let me see.
We see Boba before then?
Yeah, we see him at the very end of episode 1 of season 2. Oh, right. So this is another episode. Yeah, you see him watching Mando ride off into the sunset. And
Is that like a post-credit scene, or is that
nope,
like...
it's the very end before the
okay,
credit.
got it.
So this is the shot of Boba. That's him at the very end of episode 1 in season 2. And then he turns around, and he's wearing that's the exact same garb that he's wearing right now.
Yeah, yep.
In what we see him. So that's the first time we see him as Boba. So I think
Also,
I think the scene I'm talking about is actually in season 1, if I'm not mistaken.
well, in what you just showed, he has a rifle, and he could just use one of the Raiders' rifles, or in a flashback in Book of Boba, he could be making his own rifle.
True. This is the Fennec. This is the Fennec thing. So that's not the episode. That's episode 5 in season 1. There's that's the prisoner one. That's not the right one. This one it might be 7. Yeah, I don't know when this. I don't remember the scene I'm thinking of now. I know it exists. I just can't remember which one it is though. There's a scene. There's a one Tusken Raider when they're at their camp. Yeah, it's got to be in season 2. There's one at the camp that looks at looks at Mando when he's there, and it was the weirdest thing. I was like, why is this sand person like checking him out? It doesn't make sense. This is the passage. That's the spider one. Man, this seems like forever ago, like watching these things. That's when they got there. This Mando rejoins the old allies for a new mission. This is the Jedi. That's when they sees Ahsoka on that one planet.
So it's not. It's not.
It's gotta.
It
It's
has to be episode 1, season 2.
it's gotta be that first episode. I just can't find it. I just can't find the.
Well, hold on.
Because there's 2 scenes with him. I'll just let it play for a second so I can see. Because they did a shot where they literally turned to a random Tusken Raider sitting on top of like a rock or overlooking, and he's looking back towards Mando. And I was like, this is so weird. I was like, why would they show that? He meets them in the beginning of the episode and tells them where they've seen the guy with the armor. He meets Cobb. Cobb tells the story. They get met up by the Tusken Raiders in the little cliffside thing. I mean, I guess they could change their outfits and
Is it
stuff.
around 26 minutes?
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. But this is the one I thought I was talking about, where they're sitting around the campfire. There's a Tusken Raider, and then there's a shot. Yeah, right here. But it's not Boba. I mean, I guess it could be. But here, check this out. Right, so I might get hit for this, but okay, look. So watch this shot. It's the weirdest shot that I've seen, right? So it shows them. It shows the Tusken Raider like walking, and then it cuts to that Tusken Raider looking back at the conversation that's happening, and it's from his POV now. Okay, that Tusken Raider turns and looks at Cobb and Mando sitting talking. It doesn't make any sense why they would show a random Tusken Raider turning back and looking at them. It doesn't make any sense. So I feel that would be Boba Fett. But he's not wearing the same garb. That's all a completely different outfit. But it's just very strange.
Uh-huh.
If you just watch that over again, right? So it's like 26:54. And it happens right at 26. It's like,
could it be the chick?
I mean, it could, but she's also wearing something completely different. It's just weird. It's from a storytelling point of view of the camera. They're having a conversation at the fire, and then all of a sudden, it looks at a random raider looking with his back towards them, and then turns towards it, and then it cuts from establishing him there, and then establishes that it's his POV looking at them at the fire. Right? And it just seems really strange, especially since at the end of this episode, we find out that Fett's there, right? So this is the part that I feel like this is the last flashback scene we'll see, sort of him seeing him in the background, and then it cuts to present day type of stuff. And that's because that's it. Because after that, he meets up with Mando, and then he gets his shit back.
Oh no!
So
Don't go that far.
It'll be interesting. Yeah, it's at 26:55. 26:55 is the random Tusken Raider, and again, storytelling wise, from the camera point of view, is like, why the fuck would you show that? Because it's not a B-roll shot. It would be a B-roll shot if it was just that and that was it. But it literally cuts from a wide shot of them sitting at the fire to cutting to a random Tusken Raider looking in the sunset, and then turns purposely towards where they are, and then it cuts to a POV shot of them looking at him. Which, why would you do that? Unless you were telling us that someone is watching them, right? Which, again, we find out at the end of this that Fett has been watching this entire time. He's been tracking him down. Now, where is Fennec during this? Because Fennec was... What's that?
Why would Fett be wearing the mask? So they made it a purpose to show that he didn't put the mask on during Book of Boba.
He probably doesn't wear a mask because maybe that's the last type of thing that
The last
you're part of the
true.
part of the actual Raiders. Who knows? Maybe he hasn't made a mask yet. I'm assuming the reason they wear masks is to protect their face from the heat and whatnot, right?
Yeah, yeah. Um,
But I don't know. We'll see. I think so far 2 episodes. I think it's good. I don't think it's great. I do like the rich story they're putting in. Like I like dialogue, and the dialogue that was between the mayor and him was full of stuff. You know what I mean? Like moving narrative forward type of stuff. And then the dialogue in the second half, obviously not very good because he's not really talking. He's talking to a 5-year-old when he's explaining the sign language to him. I'm going to stop train, type of thing. That dialogue is not very good. But the dialogue between like the Hutts and him and the mayor and him, I thought was great in the first half, and the action in the second half I thought was good. And then the lore building and the rich lore that they're building in the Star Wars universe. And again, I like stuff like that. I like, but I can see 100% why people will look at this and go, "It's a shit episode. It's so boring and whatnot, and it's Fast and Furious train sequence." But overall, I think it's a good setup so far. You know what I mean? But I think they could have done the Sarlacc pit a little bit better. I feel like the Sarlacc pit was like this big moment that they kind of just like
here, 30-second clip.
Yeah, like here it is. Like you're. This is what we've been setting up for 40 years. You know what I mean? But I thought they
totally agree.
I thought they missed the opportunity of making it pretty epic of how he got out of there. Now it's just like, oh, okay, so he took a stormtrooper's air supply and then punched through the sand. Cool. Use his flamethrower. Like, I don't know, it could have been some epic thing where he was like fighting the fucking thing. You know what I mean? Like, and
Mace Windu walks up and saves him.
Yeah, it would have been interesting if hell, it would have been more interesting. Obviously, Luke didn't lose his lightsaber, but it would have been cool if he found a lightsaber inside there and then like cut open the fucking thing.
Or I like that. Mace Windu joins the Raiders, and he pulls out a purple lightsaber, cuts Boba out. And
how
secretly?
How funny would that? How funny would that be if Mace Windu was actually alive and he went to Tatooine and became a sand
Raider.
person?
That would be amazing.
He became a Tusken Raider. All of a sudden, he sees one Raider with a lightsaber in his like off to his side. Be like, holy shit!
That would be amazing.
That's not going to happen. Not at all.
Nope.
But that would be amazing. Even if they just hint at it, can you imagine if they just hint at one of the Raiders has a lightsaber around his belt, but it's literally a broken lightsaber. It's just a trinket he found, like the crystal's gone, so there's like no lightsaber in there. But
that would also be hilarious.
Yeah, but you just see a lightsaber around someone's, and you're like, "Holy shit, that's a!" And there's literally nothing. He's like, "Where'd you get the Jedi thing?" He's like, "Oh, I found it in a crashed ship." All right, and then the ship is a Jedi ship. That would be cool. See where I'm going?
Well, see, Disney, we're cheap, okay? We're cheap. That's all I'm going to say. We're cheap.
Did they bring Mace Windu back? No, Mace Windu has never been seen after the scene where he gets yeeted from the window from electrical shock. There is a comic, or not a comic. There's theories behind it that say Windu is alive, but most people don't like it. They say no, he's dead. But there's lore that show that Jedi can fall from like high places and jump really far. So
just make a Boba Fett game and call it a day.
Yeah, I'll take that. Don't show me Mace in the show. Give me a Boba Fett game and put Mace in there. We'll be good.
Yep.
All right. So are you interested in the show? Or are you kind of like it's subpar so far for you?
The show, it's. I'd say that Mando personally is a little better.
Yeah, I feel the same.
But this is coming from someone that's not that deep into Star Wars.
Well, here I have a question. Is it better because actually, if you're not a big fan of Star Wars, I was going to say, is it better because Mando's a brand new character and there's not this lore behind him. So like every episode you're like learning about him, where Boba Fett is already has this stigma on him. And you're like, you have this expectation and he's not hitting that expectation.
I don't know what it is. I think that Mando, I think his character and him being connected to Grogu and all that is more interesting than Boba just wanting to mature and not go around blasting people.
Yeah, I feel that for me, I think what Mando did was like the first episode of Mando was like a Western, like it was like
Yeah,
right, like the very first episode, and then when you see Grogu at the very end of that, you're like, holy shit, that's Yoda, and as a person that's watching it, you're like, that's Baby Yoda, right? That's what they. So you're thinking in yourself when you're watching that, there's Jedi in this, right? In season 1, and then we never get Jedi, but you know that he's Force sensitive because of what he does. So that whole time, right? That whole time you're watching, you already connected. Even though people hate that there's stories about Jedi and stuff, that's what Star Wars is, right? It's like Luke Skywalker, Jedi, all this stuff. So all of a sudden, Mando becomes a much better show because you're like, holy shit, he's got a baby Jedi. And the only time there's Jedi around right now that we know is Luke Skywalker during this period. So that gives more interest to what the show is. And Mando's an interesting character because he has this Jedi or baby Jedi in his grasps, right? Where Boba is a bounty hunter that we know, and he's got nothing connected to him. Right? His story is his story as far as, all right, well, he was a Tusken Raider, and what happens now, right? So it is less boring because it's no Jedi so far. There's nothing Star Wars-esque to that next level inside the story. It's literally just Boba Fett on Tatooine trying to become a mob boss.
This will be basically what you just said, but I feel Mando opens up the universe more and gives you more possibilities of what could happen with the Star Wars story. And Boba Fett is more just about Boba Fett and has limited impact on the greater Star Wars arc.
Right. Well, even when he was leaving the planet and like traveling to different places, right? I don't see us traveling very many places here when Fett's trying to become the leader of.
Yeah.
You know,
you're not exploring the greater vastness of the Star Wars universe. You're just stuck in one location.
Yeah, you're telling like 8 square miles in the story. Yeah. Boba needs a Ahsoka type character. I mean, all right, well, let's talk about this, Milky, right? There's rumors that Han Solo might make an appearance in here. Okay? Let's just say it happens. Would that bring this series to a next level where they're like all of a sudden they're fighting each other or they are teaming up? Do you know what I mean? Or is it just, nah, it's too much. It's too... Because we do know that Solo he used to hang out a lot on Tatooine.
I don't think they can bring Han Solo back during Book of Boba.
Why's that?
Mando. I think Harrison Ford, he's too old.
Well, they can easily... They still have the rights to him. They still have the rights to him. Yeah, they can de-age him. Just like they did Luke.
I don't know.
Hell, you don't actually have to de-age him. You could literally use the guy who played Solo in the other movie as Han.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, but the article says that Harrison Ford's rumored for our surprise return.
Yeah, well, if they can't use Harrison Ford as a 1-to-1, he is too old. Way too old. He's supposed to be in his 30s or 40s when this is going on.
Why would Han Solo show up during a Boba Fett thing?
Well, we don't know what Han's doing right after Return of the Jedi, right? We do know that he's with Leia. We do know that he's still with Chewie. We still know that he still could be smuggling stuff. But we do know that he does not have his Millennium Falcon.
Okay, here's a question I'd ask. Do you think Solo should have been a TV series?
Um, it could have been. The problem with Solo's not a bad movie. Solo lost money, but Solo's not a bad movie. Solo got hurt because of Last Jedi. Last Jedi is what killed Solo. If Solo came out before Last Jedi, Solo would have made money, would have been profitable. It was Last Jedi that broke the camel's back, and Solo was the next one after to take the full force of it. But to answer your question, should it have been a series? I don't think so. I think the movie was fine the way it is. Sure, could they make it into a series? Absolutely. They could have. You could have followed Solo around and had 2-3 seasons of him smuggling shit and becoming, you know what I mean? 100%. 100%. And anything could be a series, because if you could sit down and tell more stories. This is why I like Clone Wars, the animated series, right? Because it took things that the whole goddamn thing is from a sentence. I fought with your father in the Clone Wars, and they made the whole goddamn Clone Wars, right? And then the movie The Clone Wars, and then the Clone Wars series took place between 2 years. And every single episode tells you something and goes into depth of more of the universe. They could definitely do that with any of the characters. Hell, they are doing a series with Luke Skywalker, right? They're doing a Jedi series. So you'll see the adventures of R2-D2 and Luke Skywalker when they're where they're going. That's a series, right? Obi-Wan's a series. Ahsoka's a series. Absolutely, Solo could have been a series. I want a Jar Jar series. I only watched Mando because of Ahsoka Tano, because the animated show used to show on TV. Yeah, well, she's honestly one of the greater characters ever created in the Star Wars universe. Personally, like the arc-wise, story-wise. The only other better character than her is Anakin himself. I think Anakin's story arc, and you have to watch the Clone Wars to see more of Anakin's story as well. Like if you watch episode 2, then watch the Clone Wars, then watch watch Revenge of the Sith, and then watch the last season of Clone Wars, it hits you a lot harder. It's a lot better, too. Even if Solo came out before Force Awakens, it could have fit better because of the son killed him. What do you mean? Because, oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. But one's in the past and one's a prequel. So it doesn't matter if it came out before Force Awakens. The only reason it sucked at the box office is because of The Last Jedi. People liked Force Awakens. People were okay with Force Awakens. It was Last Jedi that was like, what the fuck is this? And people were said, well, how do we punish Star Wars for this? We don't go see the next Star Wars film.
Force Awakens wasn't bad, but it wasn't good.
No.
And then once you get to episode 8, it just went up.
Right. When you first see episode 7, you're like, hey, this is pretty good. But then you see 7 with 8, and you're like, oh, God. And then you saw 9, you're like, oh, God. And you're like, Force Awakens, suck it. You know what I mean? Because it took what potentially could have been and then just shit it. It just went down the drain. Let me bring Gritter in.
So, I was about to say.
Go ahead.
No, I was about to say Gritter's in the waiting room.
Go ahead, Gritter. What's going on, man? How'd you like the show?
You're also muted.
Oh, he's still muted. All right. When you get here, you can just chime in. It's more interested if a universe outside the Jedi and the Sith.
Oh, there you go. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, great. Yeah. Oh yeah, I just muted my mic. Okay, I mean, I muted the TV. Yeah, I liked it, man. I liked this episode. As far as no Jedi and Sith, I mean, that's cool. And last week really worried me about this show. It worried me because I was like, oh my God, it's like people cared about this character too much, even though if it wasn't for the novels or whatever, he would never made it out the Sarlacc pit. Sarlacc pit. But this episode they had today sold me.
What sold it? What sold it for you?
What sold it for me was the I like the arrow thing they're doing. what they're doing the current
Right.
day.
I know what you mean
and
by
the
the arrow
past.
thing, right? Because every time he goes to flashback to the island and how he became who he
Yeah,
became. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
and it's always relevant to what they talked about in current day. Like the person mentioned a thing about you don't know what it's like to have a family or whatever, and they show yeah he kind of does, and but um as much as I love the current day stuff, like when I saw that Black Wookiee, I was like, oh snap! I did not know who that person was. That person could not even be anything from old school like
No,
Star
he was
Wars.
created in like 2015, I believe.
Yeah, but he could
2014,
even not be
2015.
that. He could be just something totally brand spanking new. And I was like, oh, okay. And then when they brought out the huts, I was like, oh, here we go. I was so happy. But the fact that there is lore behind that Wookiee makes it even better.
Yeah.
And as much as I
I was
wanted,
confused when I first saw him, and then I was like, wait a minute. I was like, oh, that's Black. I was like, that's the one that I read in the and I only started reading the Vader comic about a year and a half ago. When
okay,
I got the Marvel Ultimate app, whatever. There's like Star Wars
yeah,
comics in there as well. So I started reading like the Leia's things and the Solo ones and the Vader ones, and I forget if it was 3 or 4. I think it was like 3, 4, or 5. I forget 3, 4, or 5.
okay,
And he's in it, and it gives a little bit of backstory on of him. So, and he's in a lot of stuff. I know he's in a lot of stuff. I haven't read any more on that character myself, but
yeah. I've
I'm
seen a lot
interested
of
in him.
videos
He
about
looks
that.
cool.
Me too, me too. And so I love that. And as much as I want to stay in that current day, and I love, I think Fennec, I love her camaraderie with Boba Fett as well, and even the two green dudes that are like, I know they were like that species. I think was a character from or species in Return of the
Yeah, Return of the
Jedi.
Jedi. They were Jabba's guardsmen. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Are those supposed to be the exact same guardsmen, or just like?
No, those are the same. Well, they're a little slimmed down from like what they were in Return of the Jedi, but yeah, they're supposed to be the same guards that were there.
Oh, that makes it even better.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it even better. And as much as I love to stay in the current day, when they went to the past, like I rolled my eyes from and said, "Oh, here we go again." But I really liked everything they did with the Tusken Raiders. Like it kind of was. I think someone refers to like dances with Tusken Raiders or something like.
Oh, like Dances with
Dancing with
Wolves. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I heard someone make a joke like that. But I loved it, man. Especially, it really hit home of how it ended. He finally became one, and like it, as corny as it sounds, they pulled it off really well. Like I felt really good for him, and felt really good for the Tusken Raiders that they had him with them because I felt like they were so like the underdogs. I mean, I
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, they're the A-team
and
moment where he's teaching them how to do stuff. They're teaching him. He's
I
teaching
laughed
them.
at that
Yeah.
montage, kind of like, oh, they're doing a thing where they're making it happen so fast. But I just love how he showed them how they took care of him. So now he's showing them how they can potentially take care of themselves when the day comes when he has to leave them. Because I'm sure he and them know someday they're gonna have to part ways. And they taught him useful things. Now he says, "Please let me teach you something to take care of yourself in return." I know most of the vehicles got destroyed. There may be one or two speeders left, if any at all, or maybe they all get destroyed. But they know how to operate them if they get more.
Right.
They
Right.
stuff. And I did think about it's funny because I think it was you or Krebs today that mentioned the Doom thing, and when I look
Yeah,
back
both of
on
us
it,
did. Yeah.
it is kind of like, because you can imagine with him now being, I think it's a title for him, the Damu or something like
The
that.
Damu, yeah.
Yeah,
Daimo.
when he said, I did not know. Every time you mentioned, I did not know what the heck he was saying until I watched you all talk about it in other videos today. But now that he has that role, it's kind of almost like, well, is he like the Kwisatz Haderach, and he has his Fremen? The Tusken Raiders are going to be his Fremen
Yes.
going across, like, they're going to help him have his underground army.
Yes.
When, if you mess with him, yeah, he's a legend of Boba Fett. Yeah, he probably don't need nobody but Boba Fett himself. But other side from Fennec and his two Green Guardians from Return of the Jedi, he has his secret Fremen force out there that'll snuff you out.
Yeah.
If you really get on his nerves too much. And I did not know they had spice in Star Wars. I
Yeah.
thought I
Yeah.
misheard that, and I really thought I misheard that until people talked about it today, and I was like, oh, really? That was
No.
actual.
Yeah,
That's
spice is an
crazy.
actual thing. It's just a term for like drugs. It's spice. Yeah.
which is kind of like a drug in Dune. But okay, that's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Well,
read.
like I
I've
said,
actually
the Star Wars is inspired by
by
Dune.
Dune. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Dune is one of the few movies that are. I mean, one of the few books. It's like aside from I think Lord of the Rings, um, the first two Hunger Game books, and don't laugh at me like the last Twilight book. I don't ask why I read that one. They're like the only movie novels I've actually read from beginning to end. But Dune, the first novel, I actually think they could have ended it with that novel. I understand why they made sequels, but anyway, that's side the point. I can see how. I remember George Lucas talking about and other people saying he was inspired by Dune, and I see that here.
yeah.
And this episode was really good, man. The train sequence now, I kind of start to question if that Tusken Raider was female because of the way it was dressed. I'm like, is that supposed to be like a
It is.
kind of a female?
It is
Yeah.
female. It is female
Okay. Is
because,
that the
well,
one that was really training him, or was it the other
yes,
one?
no. The one that's training him is the female Tusken Raider, and we looked it up on IMDb, and it is a girl that's playing. She's been in pretty much every Marvel and DC film as a stunt coordinator or a
Okay.
stunt double. So it is a female. Her name is Joanna Bennett. Is her?
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. And I love the ending where they all got up slowly and joined in him with the dance and ceremony.
Yeah.
And when it did the montage of like stills, like comic book stills, the very
Oh,
beginning episode,
the
they had that
concept
last
art. Yeah.
still.
Yeah.
That very last still when it finally at the top of the music, I was like, I had to get up off my couch and get a thumbs up. You know, with him and the Tuscan Raiders behind him and his new outfit, I was like, that's what's up, man. That is what's up. I am sold. I love that they made it the episode longer. I hope they do this for more, but it's like what 50 minutes this time.
I think with this. I think with this show they have to because there's only 7 episodes and they're telling a bigger
Okay.
story. But again, I don't know. I mean, I think they should make them longer because I think they have a problem if they don't because we don't know if there's a season 2. So you got to cram in
Yeah.
4 years of information from
Yeah.
after Return of the Jedi up to present day.
Now I heard what Krebs was saying as well. Krebs was saying he about his feelings about he felt the Mandalorian's better than Krebs. I'm with you on that. But this episode though today, like especially last week before I saw today's episode, I said, "Oh, they're gonna have some issues." I mean, I love what they're doing. I respect the character. I'm glad they. I mean, to me, I know they have it in the extended universe books. For me, the true, definitive of canon. Sadly, is when you get it on live action. I mean, the Clone Wars, I'll give them that too, but I'm kind of like, what's his name, Wolverine in that sense. Please give it to me in live action. And
Right.
they've done that with the Wookiee. They've done that with Boba Fett getting out the Sarlacc pit. Like, there's no question. It is canon now, baby. And even with the Tusken Raiders doing sign language and stuff like that, or knowing sign language, and I don't know if we'll ever get to see what they look like under their outfits. I think they'll probably have to make a call. I'm sure George Lucas will share with John Favreau. This is what I envision they look like underneath.
Well,
there.
there's in the comics they showed what they look like. We showed it on screen earlier. They're
okay.
they're like humanoid people. They just look like they're, I don't know. It looks like they're burned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like their faces are all like kind of like messed up or not. But
Okay.
not all Tusken Raiders are people that were
Tusken Raiders.
that Tusken Raiders, right? They're like
They look like the ghouls from Fallout.
Uh-oh, you know what? You know what that means, right? I'm not saying they're doing this. This is not breaking news, but I'm like, if they wanted to, the female Tusken Raider could be human under, like, not.
Oh yeah,
like,
We
Yeah.
just talked about it. I don't know if you were here. We said that maybe the female
I had to step
becomes
away. I had
his.
to go step away
We
to do
said
something.
maybe the female Tusken Raider becomes his girlfriend or something.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's like she takes it off like if he at the very end, and it's like an action. I mean, I wouldn't mind if that was Jennifer Beals. I mean, I love who she is now, but if Jennifer Beals had to be another character and she was the one underneath and she took it off and it's fine, Jennifer was like, oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know what drove him away. I mean, he's a man of honor, and I respect him going to go do his thing, taking over Java's territory. But if I was him, I either would have brought it with him. But anyway, I'm going too far with that. But anyway,
it's. What about you just saying that? What about if because the flashbacks are years before we're
That's true.
seeing in present day, right? So what about if something happens to the chief and then the
I know.
girl takes over the actual
That's true.
that troop, right? That
Mhm.
family of Tusken Raiders, and
Yeah.
then now when they're taken over, obviously they would work with him, right? Like she would be the
Yeah.
leader. So
Yeah.
Uh,
That too. Yeah. I definitely think they're a
we're-
card. They're an ace up his sleeve that's going to show up later on in the series, like
oh
present
sure,
day.
sure.
well,
We're gonna say Krabsy?
I've been, I was just agreeing with you, but do you think that this is to Gritter, that Boba Fett is going to go down the road of Avatar along the lines of Boba Fett going around to all of the different Raider camps, gathering them up to go fight the Hutts?
I think so. I could see something
Yeah,
along that lines.
yeah,
Either him or he asks his female, who's not a new leader, to go. She does that on his behalf without his knowledge at a surprise, or there is a way the show conveys he has a message sent to them, or he meets with them in person. They do that for him. I do see a gathering of of all the tribes coming together, because they even kind of mention the word tribes, I think,
yeah,
in the
yeah.
subtitle title.
They said that there's tribes. Some tribes are vicious and like they're killers, and other ones are like what this tribe is, right? They're not.
Yeah,
So
I
they're
can see that. I can see that being a thing, and I'm not gonna. I would like something for that to be more present day, where his legend or whatever reason, something where they agreed, let's all get together. We're gonna band and join him because they see him as a fellow Tusken Raider brother.
mm.
But if they were to do it like something he already kind of accomplished himself, and they're just waiting for him to like throw up his Thundercat sword and say, Tusken Raiders,
yeah,
Tusken Raiders,
yeah,
Tusken Raiders, ho! And they
yeah,
all come
yeah.
running. I can take that as well.
So who do you think the bad guy is? Do you think the mayor's the bad guy? Do you think the Hutts are the bad guy? Or do you think there's a third villain that we haven't seen yet?
I would do that. I would do three, all three. I'd take option three, where it's a joint thing of the mayor. The mayor's kind of doing like some Don Corleone Godfather type thing, where it's more like a frenemy, but it's a dangerous frenemy. Then you got the Huts that are more enemy than frenemy, like
Right, they're straight up enemy.
they still have their code where we know we're gonna kill you, but it's bad for business, so we'll do it at a time when it's not bad for business. We'll, that kind of a thing. And then I think there is something I don't want to say. When I say, I don't mean like another Sith, but there's something on along the lines of maybe true danger that's not seen yet, like a Sidious, Darth Sidious, like a Phantom Menace type thing. Because they even have the that's a Trade Federation race. I mean, there's a lot of nods to something like that where there's an omnious force that's probably. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, if they do that, I mean, it could be a coincidence. Or maybe it's not. Maybe it's a good foreshadowing if you think about it.
I said earlier that I think it's Kara from Solo, like
I'll
Solo's
take that.
girlfriend. You know that at the
Yeah.
end she becomes basically the Dawn or whatever, the Crimson Dawn's leader. I feel like they have something to do with it.
Oh, is that a part of the same? Was that the Guild of Assassins? Was she a member of them in Solo? 'Cause it's been so many years since I've seen that movie.
Crimson Dawn is like a what's it called? What's the word I'm looking for? Another gang, basically. They're just another organization that's out there, right? They're
Okay.
Darth Maul is the one that started it. Like,
Okay, yeah,
he was a
thought
leader
so,
of it.
because I knew she was a leader. Like at the end of the movie, it looked like she was a member of whatever gang
Right,
or
so-
organization Darth Maul was running.
From the time that we saw the Solo where that takes place to the current day, Darth Maul's dead, right?
Okay.
So she's the leader of that organization.
Okay, yeah, I could take that. Yeah, I honestly think that, because I think there's more. I think there's another. I'm telling you, I love Grogu and Baby Yoda, Grogu, but the Black Wookiee, which I had no knowledge about, like again, he could, even though he is a known character, if he could be unknown. For me, who did not know who he was, it made it even more powerful. And then you throw the Hutts in there.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
The Hutts are new.
Oh, it's on
The Hutts
now.
are new, at least to me. The Hutts. I don't know of any twin Hutts.
I could have sworn I've seen or heard of something somewhere referencing to more. Because I remember seeing something where there was more than just Jabba.
There's
There was like
there's a whole
multiple Hutts.
there's a whole family, but I don't remember twins. I remember like brothers and sisters and cousins and stuff like that, but I don't remember twins in any of the stories that
Okay.
I know. But again, they do make up new characters and stuff for this.
Yeah.
So the Nightwing's not a thing that I know either. Like the assassins that came after him, that's new
Okay.
in the Lore of Me. I don't know.
So
Any.
gonna be a dumb question, but are you talking about the Amelia Clark character in Solo, or are you talking
Yes.
about the character? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amelia Clark. Yeah.
Yeah, she's the one we think is running it. The new. Well, she's gonna be another
I
kind of
think
crazy now.
she's going to be making a comeback in this. Like she's the
Yeah.
Sharon Carter. Or, sorry. Sharon Carter. She's the
Yeah.
she's the power broker
Yeah.
in this.
Well, so you asked Grader, who do you think the villain is? Okay, and I was thinking, okay, I think the villain is going to sound corny. Is Boba Fett's past? Because so far everyone has been saying Boba Fett has been the bounty hunter. Boba Fett has been doing this. Boba Fett that.
Do you
got a
think
lot of
it's
enemies.
someone
He's got a lot of
in a
enemies.
past movie? Yeah, I know he has a lot. Yeah, he has a lot. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it could be that too. Yeah.
But like, it's obvious they're making it a point that Boba wants to get away from his past, and
His
I think
past
that
is gonna
something
catch
from
up
his
with him.
past is gonna.
Yeah, it's gonna catch up with him.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah, I can go with that too. Yeah.
Do you think we see Bosk come back in
Who's
this?
boss?
He's the
That's the lizard dude.
the lizard bounty hunter. You've seen multiple times his race
Oh,
in the show
he was
already.
also with them at Empire Strikes Back.
Yes.
On the
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take that as well, especially if he's supposed to be alive during this time period. Yeah, they're
I'll be up
doing.
I only know of him from Battlefront 2.
Oh
I
yeah.
only know of him from that brief scene. I think he was the one that was coughing or something.
They had
like-
a good there's a good couple episodes in Clone Wars with him in there.
Okay.
I think we see surprising characters. I think we see in this series. I think we see Bosk. I think we see Cad Bane, which is another bounty hunter, and I think we see Amelia Clark's character, Kara.
Yeah.
Well, but going off the Amelia Clark thing, okay, I think that's a little bit confirmed because she's going to be in the Secret Wars or Secret Invasion. I know that's Marvel, but
Oh.
I think they could have
Yeah,
pulled her
that's a
for a
good
Star
call.
Wars project.
Okay, let me say this then. No, go ahead, Chris. I'll wait for you to finish. Go ahead.
And I think that since they're going to be having Samuel L. Jackson and de-aging him for the Marvels,
Why
I
not?
think that
Why not bring him over as Mace Windu?
exactly.
Yeah, he survived the fall, man. Today, I think was it someone in chat or somewhere else in this chat? Maybe someone made that joke. Hey, if Boba can survive the pit, why can't Windu survive?
I don't
the
know who
fall?
said it. Right? I don't know who said that, but exactly right. Exactly right. It's plausible. It's plausible.
You never saw the body. You never saw him.
That's
buried,
right.
You know?
If you don't see a body, and even if you do, sometimes it doesn't matter.
I know, right? Like Ray as a baby in the womb could have just thought about it and used the midichlorians to regenerate his body.
Yeah.
Without, I know I'm going too far. I don't want to. That would ruin it. That would totally.
That's not.
I feel bad. I'm just an aside thing. I feel so bad for those movies, man. So I kind of want them to do the Ahsoka thing. I hear is rumored where something's supposed to happen where they retcon those movies. Sadly, but it's just horrible. How can you have those sequel movies and never bring the original cast together in one still frame?
Yeah.
But anyway, that's my.
Do you guys think that Boba Fett trips balls or has another nightmare or something where he sees his father?
Well, I was somewhat, not to really get into that, but the Vata tank, that thing.
Yeah.
I think that's a key to something because they keep showing that.
Well, that right now it's the key just to show him his flashbacks, right? Like he's healing his wounds physically, and he's going through a mental heal as well, right? He's trying to find who he is as a person, and I feel like the Bacta tank is also a sign of him healing to get to strength again.
What if the tank is supposed to represent the bed in Avatar?
No,
no,
he's not going to transfer into a body.
I'm telling you, this is one big Avatar story.
No,
I mean,
they're not going to do. They do have the tree and stuff, but it would make no.
And then whenever the lizard went into his head, it's a big. I'm telling you that
you might be right. Maybe none of this is happening, and it's just him. This is the poison that's happening in the Sarlacc pit.
Here's a question. Here's a question I have for you all. If they do bring Amelia Clark's character into present day, do you think I want Amelia Clark? I'm totally fine with her. I want her, but do you think because of the even DH Harrison Ford whatever because there had to be a new? I mean, why, but but do you think they'll get another actress to show? Okay, Harrison Ford is the adult, the more older version of
Leia?
the character, or here's here's what the female would have been had she been in return. Do something like that. Do you think they'll still let Amelia Clark come back? I want
Oh,
her, but
no, they
I
would.
don't know.
She would be of age of what she is now, so I don't think they would do any kind of de-aging with her. They would have to
Okay.
de-age. They would have to de-age Harrison Ford because remember Harrison
Well,
Ford
no,
didn't play.
not just the de-aging, but I'm thinking because I mean, what's his name? I can't remember the name of the actor who played him in Solo. Because you have a different actor playing an established character. Because technically they could have that same guy play. I think you mentioned
Well, yeah, I
already.
said it. I said they could bring. I think his name was Adrian. I think his name was or something like that.
Yeah.
They could bring him in, but it would be a little weird seeing him as
Yeah, that's why it's
like
like
him,
okay,
but older.
So if that's weird, considering we know how Han Solo's supposed to look during this time, is it then acceptable to see Kira? Was that her name?
Kara. Yeah, Kira. Kari.
Is it okay to let Amisha Clark's character look exactly the same?
Yeah, well,
or
no,
should
she
we
would
just go
because
find another actress to say
no,
okay?
because she would be the same because they made her look a little younger during the film of Solo, right?
Okay.
They didn't de-age her. They just gave her a makeup job where it made her look younger, but she's pretty young anyway. And then
I know, but I'll just
now,
as far as continuity's sake, different.
Yeah, but for now they
actor,
wouldn't have to put as much makeup on
That's
her,
true.
right? She would just be
Yeah,
of age of where she would be.
Yeah, so I would take that. I mean,
isn't she like in her late 20s, early 30s?
Amelia Clark?
Yeah.
Or is she like in her late 20s, early 30s?
I think she's like 32 tops.
I think
okay.
No, I think she's older. I think she's like 36.
Really? Let me look.
Let me see.
I know 30 will probably find it before me.
No,
35.
Yeah,
she's 35.
35. So she would be of age. Like that's the age that she would be at because Solo was taking place. They were like teenagers. They were like young 20s or late teens, early 20s.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, yeah. So then
because the movie takes place when he's going into the academy.
So I didn't see the film at all. Okay.
Okay.
What happened with the chick that was in Falcon? That chick. In Solo.
Oh,
Falcon?
she played a like a
Did
Tusken.
she kick the bucket?
No, she played like a Tusken Raider type of character. Like she wasn't.
Could she be in Boba Fett?
Technically, she could. Yeah.
Now, could she be the woman?
No, it's a completely different
character. Okay,
completely different character. Like she's not a Tusken Raider. Like she literally plays a character. I forget the fucking name. Hold on. She plays Effie's Nest, and her character that she plays, is not a Tusken Raider. Is just like a hobo, basically, out in the middle. Yeah, she's a leader of a tribe of people, but
of hobos. Okay,
of hobos. Yeah, no.
No, this makes me feel like I should watch Solo again. I hope it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
I think
it's on Disney Plus.
Okay. I've only seen it like one time. It was a good movie.
Yeah, it was decent. It was a good movie. I think Reese says that if Solo was good, it would have performed well. No, I'm telling you, Reese, it was a decent movie. It was not a terrible movie. People were backlashing because of what happened to Last Jedi.
Now, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of hard. Like you have to, I think he did a good job mimicking Harrison Ford's mannerisms and tics and everything, but It's like, man, when you got Harris, it's like only Harrison Ford could be Harrison Ford. But I think he did a good enough job, you know. And I think if they're gonna bring Emily Clark back, then I would say I'm okay with them bringing back that actor for, you know, present day Harrison
Yeah.
Ford. I know some people may look at it kind of awkward, but like that's what I was trying to bring up. Like, so if Amelia Clark came back and then they seriously de-age Harrison Ford, if you agreed to it, what's his line going to be? Oh, you look like you haven't aged one bit. And she's going to look at him like, you look like you've changed a lot.
Well,
uh,
they could
you know,
easily bring back. I mean, they de-aged Luke Skywalker. They could literally
yeah,
de-age Han Solo. I don't think that's a problem. I think he would come back more of a effective voice, not a
yeah,
you know. They could
yeah.
just put
I
the
think he
camera
did
on
have a
him
different,
and then just
yeah,
de-age him. They did it to Jeff Bridges. They did it to a bunch of other people. You know, Leia
yeah,
and everybody else. So if it's just a scene, it's not like an action sequence or anything. It's just more of a dialogue,
yeah,
sit down stuff like that. Then I don't see any problem with it.
yeah. Me neither. So I really like this episode. And I as much as I like the present day, I feel like it's going to be that. I think every day it's going to be kind of like Arrow. We're going to have the present day thing, and then they're going to do the flashback to show how it relates to what he's going through
Yeah.
now. And I think at some point, I'm wondering if there is going to be a point to where they really don't flashback much. They either won't flashback or the flashback is going to be really minor, and everything's going to come to a head. And it's
They,
like we have to deal with what's present day.
I
now.
need as a person that I hate when they do time stuff like this, right? Because we don't know the
Okay.
exact time. I need a line or something that says, you
The
know,
time
when I
frame.
was with the Tuscan Raiders for 3 years or
Yeah.
4 years, right?
Yeah.
I need something to tell me how much time has passed from when he got out of the Sarlacc pit to when he became into present day, and that's what I need. I need just it's just a quick line to Fennec, right? Well, I was with them, right? Maybe they're looking to get help. He's like, oh, we'll go to the Tuscan Raiders, and she'll be like, well, how do you know they'll help? I was with them for 3 years or 4 years, whatever. They trust me. You know, it's something along the lines of that to let me know what that is, because I feel like the time passing, like each flashback, it feels like it's a day. You know what I mean? Every time he shows us them with the Tuscan Raiders, literally like the whole train sequence is in one fucking day or 2 days. It was the day before the train goes by, okay, from right to left, by the way. Never goes back from left to right. Only goes back from right to left. And then he's like, we're gonna stop the train. I'll be back in the morning. 1 day passes. He gets the bar at the night, grabs the bikes, brings them back, trains them in one afternoon before the train comes again. It's like, okay, great. So this is a memory of one afternoon or 2 days of your dreams. So how long have you been with this crew? How long are you with them for the remainder of this thing? Like, is each
I feel like
episode
they
like
did
a
not.
year?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what is it?
I don't think they did a good. I feel like that was probably at least a 3-day journey for them to learn how to ride those bikes, but they did not do a good job
Well,
story
yeah,
wise
I have to
conveying
agree
the
with
time.
that. I personally think the train comes by like once a week.
Yeah, okay, I can do
Yeah,
that too.
but they don't tell you that, right? They literally
They don't tell you that.
they don't
yeah.
show you that, like the sun goes down. They don't tell you a line like, how often does that train come by? Oh, it comes by, you know, something. Sign
Yeah, I would
language
think
to
once a
me,
week,
how
yeah.
much time has passed. You know, 5
Family.
days,
Our
10 days.
Yeah, I got the feeling it's probably a weekly transport as well, Krebs. So I can do like it took him a couple of days. Yeah, he knew, because I don't think even with him being as thorough, just think character wise, like canon wise, I don't think he would think he could get those people ready to jump on hijack a train on
You know,
speeders
and like right, in like
in a
3
day.
hours, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They could have
yeah.
easily shown the sun up, sun down, sun up, sun down.
I know they didn't do that though.
Yeah.
2 things I need is one, I need James Cameron to show up and talk about blue people, okay? And
Oh, stop, Krebs.
but if I'm being serious, I want to know how they get Slave One.
Well, me and Wolverine talked about this last year when we were with Mando. I said, Slave One's at Jabba's palace, right? That's where it was. That's where it was. He was there before they went on the barge, meaning he parked his at either Mos Espa
Yeah.
and then traveled to Jabba's place, or it's at Jabba's palace. right?
And he's at Jabba's palace.
And he's
now,
at
so
Jabba's
he should
palace
have
at the end of the
access to it now.
show to get
Yeah.
his ship. And I'm assuming that his ship was just in a docking bay, and he owed back money for there. But how long, right? Because as you say it, he was in the Sarlacc pit. We don't know, for a day, a week,
Yeah.
a month. Okay, and then when he got out, he was with the Sand People for what? 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. So he gets his ship at some point. So who has his ship during this
I
period?
think they're going to show that before the end of the season during the flashback scenes. I really do. I think this flashback is montage for this season is getting you acclimated to what actually took place until he met Mando and said,
What
"Give me back
if
my armor."
I just thought about? I gave myself a vision in my head. What about if Bosk took his shit? Another bounty hunter took his ship.
The lizard just went into 30's brain.
Okay. What about if another bounty hunter took his ship, and then one of the episodes he had to go back and get his ship from that bounty hunter? So he gets him. Episode as a flashback of getting his ship back, fights another bounty hunter, and then takes that bounty hunter. And then at the end of the series, when he needs help, it's yet another person that can help him defeat.
Oh, you know what we probably should see too? The scene, like I know they did like a lot of off-camera stuff for him meeting Fennec. I want to actually see the on-camera perspective of him saving Fennec. Him after the man, he walks up with the Spurs type boots, and is he have the Spurs boots now, or is that something we got to see him get in the flashback scenes as well? I can't remember, but I want to see that as well too. Him meeting Fennec and
Right.
yeah.
That's true.
So-
That's true, Reese. Slave 1 doesn't exist anymore. So, and Buckalorian's correct. It's the unidentified gender 1. Yeah.
If
Though.
Bosk took Slave 1, how would they get off the planet to get the ship back?
They could hire someone to get their ship.
I mean, I guess, but like if you're a raider, you ain't gonna be wealthy enough to do that.
Sure. Or you could wait till the ship comes back to Tatooine to do a job.
I don't know.
It wouldn't be that hard to hire a bounty hunter to come get your ship back. I mean, he got his armor back, right?
Yeah.
It's Star Wars universe. It's a small world.
He got his armor back because he had Slave 1.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's one of the flashbacks, how he gets his ship, though. That's what I'm saying.
No, yeah.
I mean, up until just 5 seconds ago, I thought it was just parked at a palace or parked in a docking bay for a couple years, right?
Yeah.
5 seconds ago, I didn't even know where Slave 1 was.
Yeah, I thought it was at Jabba's palace. That's where I thought it was, because the last time we see Boba Fett is that he's standing next to Jabba. So you would assume that either he parked it at Jabba's palace or he parked it at Mos Espa and then traveled, because it's like in a little short car ride to get to Jabba's palace from there. Hell, Boba and Fennec are walking it every day, basically. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah.
it's somewhat close. Hence the henchman that used to carry Jabba from the palace to Mos Espa. So I just assume it was parked at Jabba's palace this entire time.
What if Boba Fett ends with them getting on board Slave 1 and blasting off to Grogu and Mando?
Yeah, that could be.
Yeah,
But
that could
then
be
again,
it,
if he takes over the reins of what he's doing, why would he leave? Right?
Well, no. Well, that scene would be set before the beginning of the
Well, no,
series.
it would have to be after, because
Well, no. Like my scene, what I'm talking about is they walk up into Slave 1.
yeah,
They're in Slave 1 and travel to the scene where Grogu's on the rock.
no, I get that, but he doesn't start doing what we're doing here until after the whole thing is done. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the rock sequence and stuff like that. After he helps Grogu get delivered with Mando, and he helps him, and leaves him when he drops him off on that ship. He then goes to this. It starts the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Correct. So the scene that you're talking about wouldn't happen, because unless it's another flashback scene, is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right? Because the flashback scene is, but where So you're saying he gets his ship and then flies off in the flashback scene to the Rock scenario. So like before he gets to the Rock is when they get his ship. Like where do they get his ship from? They'll show a flashback scene, get his ship, and then fly to where the Rock thing is that you're talking about. I see what you're saying.
That'll be like the Mando season 3 right around the corner.
I see what you're saying. So the flashback scene of going to the Rock.
Correct. Yes.
I gotcha.
Okay, guys, I gotta back out. I gotta go handle something. But thank you all, man. I'll be back next week. I try to be on a little bit earlier or more, so I had to do some stuff tonight. But it's good talking to y'all. Good talking to you. Krebs and 30.
All right, man. Have a good night.
See you next week.
See you next week. Have a good one, everyone.
You too.
I think there's a lot of stuff that could go on with the series, but we'll see what happens as far as I think 3 people will show up. I think Bosk will show up. I think Kira will show up, and who did I say the third one was?
Mace Windu.
No, it wasn't Mace Windu.
Amelia Clark.
I said Amelia Clark, which is Kara. Yeah, that's
okay.
Kara. Who did I say with my third one? Holy shit, I forgot it now. Chat, who did I say? I completely lost it. I said
the other bounty hunter.
No, I said him.
Okay,
I said Kira, and I said one other person. What did I say? Yeah, it wasn't Sam Jackson. I do believe he's still alive though, Buck. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care. And when it happens, this is what'll happen, right? They'll hedge their bets. They'll hedge their bets, right? They'll say, well, that wasn't how it was, and they just wrote that shit in, right? That's what they'll say. But I believe they will write him back in some way, shape, or form. I said 3 people. I can't remember the third person.
Who is it?
Dave Chappelle is Windu. It's an ultimate time. It's an alternate timeline, Reese. Right? It's an ultimate timeline. Who the fuck did I just say about 10 minutes ago? I said 3 people that are guaranteed to come into this. I'll just have to go back and watch it, I guess. I don't know. But
Vision.
Did I say Solo? I think I said it was Harrison Ford.
Oh yeah, yeah, Han Solo, the dude who played him in Solo.
Well, I didn't mean him. I said they could bring him. I think Solo's coming back. I think Lizard Guy's coming back, and I believe Amelia Clark's character Kara's coming back.
Yep.
Those are the 3 people I think are guaranteed to show up in in this.
And then Mace Windu, okay? Yep.
Mace Windu will be the end credit scene.
Yes.
As Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle will be Windu. That'll be it. I think we got it.
Honestly, Dave Chappelle as Mace Windu, I'm all for
it. That'd be hilarious. It'd be like, and they wouldn't even mention it. They just no one would say anything different. They're like, you look a little different.
Yeah. Although knowing Disney, they're gonna be like, sorry, Dave, you have some heat right now. We don't want you here. Go back to Netflix.
Yeah, overall, I'm excited to see what happens with the series. As of between two shows right now, I don't think it's shit. I do think it's entertaining. The first episode was good. The second episode is better. And the first episode is not as good now after watching the second episode.
Well, I mean, according to the numbers, Book of Boba Fett's beating Hawkeye, so...
Yeah, but they don't tell you what the numbers are for Hawkeye.
This is true.
So like 10 people watched Hawkeye, 11 people are watching Book of Boba Fett, so it's definitely a better show than Hawkeye.
We already know Hawkeye's getting a movie, or not a Kate Bishop's getting a movie.
Kate Bishop, yeah.
So if this is better than the Kate Bishop,
then Boba Fett's getting a movie.
It must get season.
Yeah, then Boba Fett's getting a movie, right? A standalone movie. All right, I think that'll do it for the night. I appreciate everyone coming in. Crocy, glad your voice is back. Glad you could join me.
Thank you.
Are you feeling better? You feeling better?
I'm feeling a lot better.
That's good.
Again, the whole sickness, I thought it would be worse. It's not that bad.
Yeah, no, it's fear. That's all. Better than the lowest viewed show. That's an achievement. That's right, Reese. That's right. That you got to set your bars. You got to set your goals. You know, basically Disney's run like I run my YouTube channel. It's like, well, I got 13 people this week.
Christ.
That's one more than last week. We had 12 average last week. That's how they run their streaming service. So
Wow.
that's it. You got to make fun of yourself. Self-deprecations is okay. Yeah. They're much better. That's how I do my shows. I'll be like, this is my highest rated show of Book of Boba Fett since last week. Yeah. Thanks, Krebsy. I appreciate you, man. I'll talk to you later.
See ya.
Yeah, so that's how it is. I appreciate everyone coming out, hanging out. If you watch these after the fact, I appreciate you very much. If all it is us just reviewing the show, going over the description of the show, and I appreciate everyone coming out and talking Star Wars with us. We'll be live tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. over on 30 and Still Gaming, and then tomorrow evening on 30 and Still Gaming for Generation X Gaming. A weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories in the past week and we rant along the way. If you'd like to help us out on our streams, you can't do anything monetary here, except hit the subscribe button. That helps us out if you're new to the channel, and if you've watched it this long, I don't know why you haven't hit the subscribe button. Other than that, you can go over to our 30 and Still Gaming channel, and you can hit the subscribe button there. You can also hit the membership button there, or you can go to our Twitch channel at 30 and Still Gaming and hit the subscribe button over there as well. The most viewed Star Wars show of 2022. That's right. It's the number one Star Wars show of 2022. That's an article. That's how they do stuff, Buck. You know that? That they're like, this is the highest rated show on a Friday night, when it ends in 12, when the date falls on 12. You're like, oh my God, this is the greatest show. That's what they did for all their shows. They like to word play on what the stuff is. This is my highest rated show for the podcast of Boba Fett in 2022. It just is. Side note, OG Ninja Turtle movies are on Netflix. Oh, are they? I used to love those. Maybe I'll watch that with my son. The Raiders are the blue people. That's right. About a guy with the initials of BF. That's right. So I appreciate everyone coming out and hanging out with us. Like I said, if you like this, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, share it with a friend, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock. Good night. Peace.